Chapter 58-19 Falls. Director Ziafa's face was ferocious. Yun Chujio was right above him and there was no way to avoid her. Even if she could not be killed by this strike, it would also make her unable to hold on to the rope, and she would definitely fall to her death. Director Ziafa's palm, which was full of spiritual power, hit Yun Chujio's body firmly. Yun Chujio immediately cried out in pain, "Director Xiaofu, you actually want to kill me? Save me. Save me. Someone save me." The people above were all stunned by this unexpected turn of events. Although they knew that Director Xiaofu and Yun Chujio had a feud, they never thought that Director Xiaofu would actually make a move. Lecturer Yao and the other two lecturers looked at each other. Although they were both direct descendants of Director Xiaofu, they could not remain indifferent under the watchful eyes of the crowd. Thus, they pretended to shout to the people below, "Director Xiaofu, you must not be rash. No matter what huge mistake Yan Qingqing has made, we will talk about it after we get up." Once they said this, the matter was settled. Director Xiaofu was punishing the students who had made mistakes. Nangong Shi and Jiang Shuangli were so anxious that they were hopping around, but they could not do anything. The two of them could not help but feel a little regretful. If they had known earlier, even if Yan Qingqing was not willing, she should have let her climb up before them. But now, she and Director Xiaofu were suspended in the middle of the cliff. They could not help even if they wanted to. Director Xiaofu had long expected this situation, so he was fearless and attacked openly. To be honest, he had thought that the previous palm strike would be able to kill Yun Chujio or make her fall. Who would have thought that although Yun Chujio screamed mournfully, she was still climbing up? Director Xiaofu snorted coldly and slapped Yun Chujio again. He thought that this palm strike would definitely kill Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio took another palm strike and her scream became even more mournful. "Help. I'm going to kill someone. There's no law anymore." Director Xiaofu saw that she was still alive and was so angry that he slapped her a few times. In the end, He Xingjiu was still shouting loudly. It was simply a ghost. Director Xiaofu directly took out a treasured sword and chopped at Yun Chujio's legs. Nangong Shi and Jiang Shuangli were so angry that they were trembling. Director Xiaofu was deliberately trying to kill Yan Qingqing. Yun Chujio had been paying attention to Director Ziafa's movements. Seeing him like this, she immediately let Xiao Hanyo curse and shook the rope violently. Director Xiaofu was still some distance away from. In addition, he was completely focused on Yun Chujio. After being cursed by the little black bird, he instantly lost his balance. He immediately screamed and fell down. Director Ziafa's cultivation was not low after all. Although it happened suddenly, he quickly reacted and used his sword to stab the stone wall beside him to slow down his fall. No one expected things to turn out like this. Nangong Shi and Jiang Shuangli were very happy. No matter what, Yan Qingqing could be considered to have saved her life. As long as she climbed up, no matter what, they would protect her life. However, they did not expect that Xiao Lianxiao had already quietly walked behind the big tree that was tied with ropes and untied the ropes. When they discovered it, it was already too late. Yun Chujio's entire body fell into the bottom of the pit. Xiao Lianqiao's action was truly out of everyone's expectations. Even Lecturer Yao and the other two were momentarily speechless. This was a blatant murder. Chapter 58-20 was reduced to a pitiful wretch. If Vice Director Xiao wanted to kill Yun Chujio, he could still use a teacher to punish a student to explain it, but Xiao Lianqiao's actions could not be justified no matter what. Everyone felt that Yun Chujio was dead for sure. After all, her cultivation could not be compared to Vice Director Xiao's. Moreover, she had been slapped so many times by Vice Director Xiao and was already seriously injured. How could she still have the strength to save her little life? At this moment, someone cried out in surprise. Everyone quickly looked over and saw that Yan Qingqing had thrown something out and actually hung herself on a small tree on the cliff wall. Under everyone's stunned gazes, Yun Chujio was like a nimble little squirrel as she calmly climbed to the bottom of the pit. Nangong Shi and Jiang Shuangli anxiously stomped their feet. This Yan Qingqing was really smart and muddle-headed. Why don't you climb up instead? Although Vice Director Xiaofu was slightly injured, his life was not in danger. He was currently waiting below with a menacing gaze. Wouldn't climbing down like this be courting death? Lecturer Yao quickly put down another rope. "I want to go down," Jiang Shuangli said. Yan Qingqing had saved his life. It was time for him to repay her. Lecturer Yao's eyes flickered as he said, "There's only one rope. The other one is with Vice Director Xiaofu. Don't worry, I will persuade Vice Director Xiaofu not to hurt Yan Qingqing." Jiang Shuangli was not a fool. He naturally knew that Lecturer Yao was lying. How could there only be one rope? However, he had no choice. Even if he were to use force, he would not be able to defeat the 3 lecturers. At this moment, everyone cried out in surprise. He hurriedly looked down and saw Yan Qingqing running into the dense forest not far away. Director Xiaofu was chasing closely behind. Jiang Shuangli and Nan Gongshi both looked annoyed. They had always been successful, but this was the first time they felt helpless. He Xingjiu only stopped after she ran into the dense forest. She sneered and looked at Director Xiaofu, who was chasing after her. Director Xiaofu, are you trying to shed all pretense of cordiality? Director Xiaofu saw that although Yun Chujio was covered in blood, she was still alive and kicking. His heart was filled with hatred and shock. This stinky girl must have some protective treasure on her. Otherwise she would not be safe. It just so happened that as long as he killed her, those things would belong to him. Yan Qingqing, you can't run away. No one will come to save you. If you know what's good for you, just let me kill you. Otherwise you'll suffer more. The corner of Yun Chujio's mouth curled up. Little grasshopper, I don't W. Come out, I want to talk to you. Before Vice Director Xiaofu could object, the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle Emperor Bug hurriedly took the initiative of the body. Stinky girl, you know that I have possessed him? Not only do I know that you have possessed him, I also know that you want to find the corpse stabilizing pearl, am I right? Yun Chujio said with a faint smile. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle Emperor Bug's eyes lit up. Yes, what I want to find is the corpse stabilizing pearl. As long as you destroy the corpse stabilizing pearl, I will help you kill this idiot. How about it? Yun Chujio sighed. Little grasshopper, I don't want to criticize you, but the brain of your insect race is not easy to use. You're helping me? You're already at the edge of the cliff, don't you know? It's me who should be helping you. The 1,000-year corpse turtle Emperor Bug was stunned. What do you? Yun Chujio sneered. Do you think that if Vice Director Xiaofu kills me, he will destroy the corpse stabilizing pearl? He will definitely use the corpse stabilizing pearl to threaten you. Killing you would be a light punishment, and he will even use it to threaten you. He will make you work hard for him and torture you until you wish you were dead. At that time, you will not be able to answer every day and you will not be able to cry properly. You will completely lose your dignity as a worm. You will become a pitiful worm. Chapter 58:21 Dignity of a Bug. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle Emperor Bug said angrily. He dares? Tsk, of course he dares. As long as he has the fixed corpse pearl in his hand, what can you do to him? These days he has been bullied by you many times. Naturally he will pay you 1,000 times over. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle Emperor Bug was dumbfounded. After thinking about it, it felt that what Yun Chujio said was very reasonable. It had thought things were simple before. The fool it possessed was vicious and merciless. Perhaps it really did intend to do so. It rolled its eyes. Little girl, thank you for your reminder. How about this? As long as you destroy the fixed corpse pearl, not only will I help you kill this fool, I will also agree to 3 conditions. Moreover, I will definitely not harm your life. How about it? Yun Chujio giggled. Little grasshopper, do you think you have the right to negotiate with me? You have also seen that this idiot's attacks have no effect on me. I'm not afraid of him at all. I can completely kill him and then use the fixed corpse pearl to kill you. However, since you have given me quite a number of spirit stones and lightning striking stones, I will give you a way out. If you do as I say, then it's fine. But if you don't want face, then I'll kill you and exterminate all of you. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle Emperor insect never dreamed that it would be blackmailed one day. And it was blackmailed by a weak little girl. But she had the corpse stabilizing pearl in her hand, so it couldn't hurt her at all. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle Emperor felt that its insect life had never been so dark. Even though it had been forced to give up its body, it had never been so desperate before. He Xingjiu said impatiently, if you want to die, live a little faster. I'll give you 3 seconds. 1, 2. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle Emperor gritted its teeth. Better to live than die. It was more important to save its life first. It would think of a way to deal with this smelly girl in the future. It thought that it, the grand 1,000-year-old corpse turtle Emperor Bug, would not be able to defeat a little brat like her. Therefore it gritted its teeth and said, I want to live. What do you want me to do? He Xingjiu nodded in satisfaction. You are quite sensible, little grasshopper. You killed Vice Director Xiaofu's primordial spirit, and then you temporarily pretended to be Vice Director Xiaofu to help me with my work. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle Emperor Bug was immediately overjoyed. It thought that the brat was going to make things difficult for it, so that was all it was asked to do. It was too easy. While it was secretly happy, He Xingjiu continued, however, I'm afraid that you So, before that, you have to sign a master pet contract with me. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug was immediately taken aback. What was that? Sign a master pet contract? It was the grand 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug, the king of all bugs, to acknowledge a weak little girl as its master? No, absolutely not. This was the dignity of the insect. I've never liked to force others to do things. Since you don't want to, it's fine. I'll take out the corpse stabilizing pearl and play with it. Hei Shinjio was about to take out the corpse stabilizing pearl when the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect blurted out, "I'll do it. I'll do it, alright?" Life was more important. The dignity of the insect could be put aside for now. Even if the contract was formed, it would find a way to bite back. Yun Chujio was very satisfied with the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug's tactful attitude. Little grasshopper, to be honest, I didn't intend to take you in. Not only are you ugly, you're also transformed from corpse chi. How disgusting. I feel embarrassed even if I take you out. However, seeing that you're still rather obedient, I reluctantly accepted you out of kindness. Come, let's form a contract. Chapter 58:22, Deceiving Even Insects. Update. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect was so angry that it almost fainted. What did she mean by being a good-for-nothing? She was a good-for-nothing. She even despised it for making a fool of herself. She even despised her for being weak and embarrassing the insect. However, it did not matter. Even if it recognized her as its master, it could still bite back. When the time came, it would let her know what it meant to regret what she had done in the past and what it meant for a dog to look down on an insect. However, the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug and Hei Shinjio only realized a problem after a while. Now that the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug had lost its body, how could it contract with Yun Chujio? Hei Shinjio blinked her eyes. If it was in the past, she really couldn't do anything about it. But now she knew about the demonic god contract. In this way, she wasn't afraid of the little grasshopper biting her back. It was simply awesome. Little grasshopper, I know of a special master pet contract. Release a wisp of corpse chi and PLL control it. Hei Shinjio said slowly and seductively, like a little fox with 9 tails. The 1,000-year corpse turtle emperor insect believed her and immediately released a wisp of corpse chi. Yun Chujio quickly established a demonic contract with it. After the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect sensed the contract in its spiritual sense, it was dumbfounded. What kind of contract was this? Why didn't it know? The poor 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect was still thinking about the backlash, but it didn't know that it had completely fallen into the pit, a 10,000-year-old deep pit. Hei Shinjio kindly explained for it, "Little grasshopper, this is called a demonic contract. Only the demon race can become the master's side. Isn't it interesting?" 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug. What kind of monster had it encountered? It even lied to a bug. However, wait, only the demon race could become the master's side. Did that mean that this stinky girl was a demon? You are a demon? The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug felt that its brain was not enough. Wasn't this stinky girl too bold? Since she was from the demon race, she actually dared to wander among the humans. Was she tired of living? Hei Shinjio said with a smile, 80%. Maybe. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug was so angry that it was twitching. Yes, no, it was not. It was really too infuriating. In fact, it did not know that Yun Chujio really did not lie to it. This fellow did not even know what it was. Little grasshopper, we have plenty of time to cultivate our feelings. First, kill the primordial spirit of this idiot, Director Xiaofu. Then we will go up. It will be troublesome if someone comes later. What could the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug say? It could only do as it was told. Moreover, when it thought that Director Xiaofu, this idiot, actually intended to enslave it, the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug was simply furious. Originally, the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug could have killed Director Xiaofu silently, but it was ready to vent its anger, so it returned the control of its body to Director Xiaofu. Director Xiaofu didn't know what the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug and Yun Chujio had just said. Seeing that Yun Chujio was still standing in front of him, he immediately wanted to make a move. Yun Chujio just looked at him with a smile and had no intention of dodging. At this moment, Director Xaiafa's spiritual sense transmitted the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect's angry voice. "You idiot, do you think that you can enslave me just because you have the fixed corpse pearl? I will kill you right now." Director Xiaofu was confused. He was both afraid and guilty, so he quickly explained, "Sir, don't listen to Yan Qingcheng's nonsense. I have always been loyal to you. How would I dare to have such thoughts? As soon as I get the Pearl of the Dead, I will destroy it. I will never have any other thoughts. Chapter 58:23 The wicked will be tortured by the wicked. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect sneered. Is that so? Since you are so loyal to me, then give me your primordial spirit. Let me supplement it. Before Deputy Director Xiaofu could react, he felt a sharp pain in his spiritual sense. He immediately used his primordial spirit to resist, but how could he be a match for the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect? He could only watch helplessly as his primordial spirit was constantly being devoured by the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug. His face turned paler and his body was covered in cold sweat. Yun Chujio watched coldly from the side. She and Vice Director Xiaofu originally had no enmity, but he had repeatedly wanted her life. Now that she had become a vessel for the little grasshopper, she deserved it. Vice Director Xiaofu suddenly raised his head and looked at Yun Chujio with a vicious gaze. It's you, isn't it? It must be because you said something to the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug that it suddenly turned hostile. Yen Qingqing, you slut. You will die a horrible death. The corners of Yun Chujio's mouth curled up and she snapped her fingers. Congratulations, you got it right. Director Xiaofu was like a mad demon. He did not know where the power came from, but he actually forcefully released his spirit power wolf. The spirit power wolf pounced at Yun Chujio ferociously. Yun Chujio allowed it to pounce on her body. The spirit power wolf's 4 solid claws instantly tore her skin and flesh apart. However, Yun Chujio still had a faint smile on her face. Director Xiaofu, you probably don't know this, right? These attacks of yours cannot do anything to me except cause some flesh wounds. Also, the reason why those thunder cone trees ran away was also because of me. Tell me, what right does a fool like you have to fight with me? Yun Chujio felt that this set of words from a despicable person who had achieved success was extremely satisfying. It was simply wonderful. Director Xiaofu had obviously suffered a huge blow. His eyes quickly dimmed because he had lost his fighting spirit. At this moment he regretted it. If he had known that he was facing such a pervert, he should not have provoked her. But what was the use of regret? After the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug had devoured Vice Director Zaifa's primordial spirit, it looked at Hei Xinjiu, who was covered in blood but had a calm expression. It was a little afraid. This stinky girl was ruthless to others but even more ruthless to itself. In order to completely defeat that idiot, she actually allowed the huge spiritual wolf to scratch her all over. This was too ruthless. In fact, it did not know that Hei Xinjiu was most afraid of pain. Even if her finger was pricked by a needle, she would scream for a long time. However, the road ahead was dangerous, so she could only make herself stronger. No matter how much pain she felt, she could only endure it. When the pain reached a certain extent, she would become numb. After all, being able to feel pain was also a kind of happiness. At least, it meant that she was still alive. Cough cough, these were chicken soup for others to listen to. In fact, Hei Xinjiu was cursing in her heart at this moment. Fuck. She didn't deliberately not dodge. She wasn't a fool. Damn it. She was forced to do it. Just now, she was about to dodge the attack of the spiritual giant wolf, but she felt her body stiffen for a moment. She actually didn't listen to her commands anymore. She couldn't move at all. What was going on? Why was this happening? Xiaomo inside Yun Chujio's spiritual beast bag laughed loudly. Stinky girl, you really deserve it. I didn't expect that the wicked will be tortured by the wicked. You have finally met your retribution. When Hei Xinjiu signed the contract with the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug, she had deliberately opened her spiritual perception with Xiaomo to annoy him. That was how Xiaomo knew what had happened. Yun Chujio was stunned. What do you mean? What's going on? Chapter 58:24 Corpse Transformation. Xiaomo laughed like a maniac. He finally had an outlet to vent his frustration. Naturally, he couldn't stop laughing. Dog 2 glared at him. You old fool, the fairy is asking you a question. If you laugh again, it'll beat you to death. Only then did Xiaomo stop laughing. However, there was still a hint of a sneer in his tone. Stinky girl, a snake swallowing an elephant when its heart isn't enough is exactly like you. You even dared to contract the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug. I think you've had enough of living. Yun Chujio narrowed her eyes. What do you mean? The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug is formed from the corpse chi. If you contract it, you will naturally be infected by the corpse chi. Over time you will turn into a zombie. You stinky girl, when the time comes, you will become neither a human nor a ghost, neither a devil nor a demon, and you will become a monster. Ah. Hei Xinjiu was dumbfounded. Damn it, I won't turn into a zombie, will I? Xiaomo laughed crazily and continued, that's not the worst part. The best part is that your consciousness will be erased after a long time, and you will become a monster that only wants to devour corpse qi and human blood. The cycle of justice is not satisfied with retribution. Damn girl, you have done so many wicked things and you have finally received retribution. Ah. The more Xiaomo talked, the more excited he became. If he had not been trapped in the spiritual beast pouch, he would have rolled on the ground in joy. Hey Xingjiu, Buttface and the other dumb cuties were all dumbfounded. Hun Dun said in a muffled voice, it's over. It's over. If the little girl turns into a monster, won't she eat us first? Little girl, please be kind and let us go now. I don't want to be sucked dry and turned into a mummy by voucher. Buttface gave Hun Dun a claw. You dumbass. Now you have a different heart. Do you have a conscience? If it weren't for the little fairy, would you have such a beautiful green sweater? If it weren't for the little fairy, you would still be lying in the dirty and smelly swamp. Hun Dun felt a little guilty from Buttface's words, but he still defended himself. I didn't want it to be like this. It's mainly because the little girl will turn into a mindless monster. It's useless even if we pledge our loyalty to her. Hey Xingjiu was having a headache because of the two of them. She said angrily, shut up. Xiaomo, are you telling the truth? Are you not lying to me? Xiaomo snorted coldly. You know your body best. Naturally, you know whether PM lying or not. Yun Chujio frowned. Her body had indeed stiffened for a moment just now. Could it be that Xiaomo was telling the truth? If it were an ordinary person who had heard such terrible news, they would have been devastated immediately. However, He Xingjiu had been through so many strange things. Although she was worried, nothing much had happened yet. Xiaomo, since you know so much about this matter, is there any way to solve it? If I cancel the contract with the little grasshopper now, will it not be affected? Xiaomo sneered, you think it's simple. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug is formed from corpse qi. How can you break the contract just because you want to? This is the retribution for your greed. You actually dared to contract with me and the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug. You deserve retribution. Hearing his words, Yun Chujio was certain that Xiaomo had no other way. Otherwise, he would have taken the opportunity to blackmail her long ago. Therefore, she didn't bother to talk nonsense with Xiaomo and restored the spiritual sense connection with the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug still didn't know what had happened. It only saw Yun Chujio's expression change. In short, it didn't seem like a good thing. Chapter 58-25 Yun Chujio's gaze made the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug's hair stand on end. It muttered, why are you looking at me like that? Yun Chujio narrowed her eyes. Are you hiding something from me? The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug's face was filled with innocence and anger. You've gone too far. This is called backstabbing. You previously lied to me and signed a demonic god contract with you. My entire bug is yours. What else can I hide from you? Seeing the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug like this, Yun Chujio did not look like it was lying. Besides, this bug was stupid and did not have that much scheming. Let me ask you. Xiaomo said that after I made a contract with you, I would be infected by the corpse qi and eventually become a monster that only knows how to swallow corpse qi and blood. Is that true? The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug looked confused at first and then slapped its thigh in realization. A look of reverence appeared on its face. Oh my god. No wonder I became your bug. So you are the legendary demon. He Xingjiu was at a loss. What the hell is a demon? A demon is the king of all ghosts. It is the world's most powerful zombie. I knew it. How could I, the grand 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug, be so disgraced to be contracted by someone? So you are a demon. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug's face was full of flattery and worship. He Xingjiu's heart felt like a dog's. She was the ghost ancestor, but she wasn't a damn demon. If she really became a zombie, what was the difference between that and death? If she had known earlier, she wouldn't have contracted this damned little grasshopper. Previously in the bloodthirsty insect valley, she felt that this thing was too unlucky, so she didn't hit its main target. Who would have thought that she would still fall into the pit now? Damn it, this pit was dug by herself. Why was she so unlucky? Didn't she just take in a little grasshopper? How did she become the leader of the zombies? She glared fiercely at the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug. I don't want to become a demon, and I don't want to be infected by your corpse aura. Do you have any ideas? If not, I will kill you directly. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug shivered under Yun Chujia's fierce gaze. No. Didn't you ask me to help you? It would be such a pity to kill me. Cut the crap, do you have any ideas? The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug was about to cry. It was really not to blame for this. After all, in its inheritance, it had never heard of a 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug being contracted by a human. Yes, by a demon. Who would have thought that there would be such a side effect of turning into a corpse? The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect thought about it and racked its brains, but it still couldn't think of a solution. Yun Chujio simply didn't count on it anymore and started to operate according to the method of breaking the demon god's contract. However, she realized that just as Xiaomo had said, the contract really couldn't be broken. Yun Chujio looked at the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect that was trying its best to reduce its presence and said, "Even if I can't break the contract, I can at least kill you." The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect fell to its knees with a plop. "Lord Demon, you can't do this. PM your insect. A day of master and servant is 100 days of grace. You can't be so ruthless. Moreover, if you kill me and still can't stop the corpse transformation, won't the gains outweigh the losses? If you keep me alive, at least I'll have a helper. At least I'm still the king of the insect clan." At this moment, Xiaomo laughed loudly and said, "It's useless even if you kill it. Your spiritual sense has already been bound to the demon god's contract, and it will automatically absorb corpse chi. Moreover, it's becoming more and more fond of fresh blood. Sooner or later you'll turn into a corpse. Ah, it's really retribution." Chapter 58:26 1Lo go and harm the demon race. Yun Chujio narrowed her eyes and said, "Xiaomo, do you think PLO spontaneously absorb corpse chi and become more and more fond of fresh blood?" Xiaomo gloated and said, "That's right. At that time, you won't be able to control yourself at all, and you'll eventually become a monster spurned by others." "Do the corpse chi and blood you mentioned belong to humans?" "Can other races? Of course they can. Whether it's the human race, the ghost race, or the demon race, as well as demonic beasts, spiritual beasts, or demonic beasts, they will all become food in your eyes. Then it'll go and harm the demon race continent. Anyway, the demon race is immortal. Even if tens of thousands of people die, it doesn't matter." "I won't feel guilty," Yun Chujio said lightly. "Xiaomo, why didn't this brat play by the rules? Normally, when a person heard such bad news, shouldn't he break down and cry? Why did this brat's first thought was to harm others? Too shameless. Too shameless. If he put such a monster on the demon continent, wouldn't he become a sinner of the demon race?" He was too gloating. When she asked him just now, he should have said that she couldn't absorb the demon race. It was too late to regret. He wanted to change his words, but he knew that Hei Shinjio was full of schemes. Even if he changed his words, Yun Chujio wouldn't believe him. Xiaomo thought for a while. This stupid girl was probably just saying. She couldn't find the entrance to the demon continent. How could she go to the demon continent? Besides, someone might discover that she was about to turn into a corpse and be killed. He didn't need to worry at all. Thinking of this, Xiaomo snorted coldly and said, "It's up to you. Anyway, as long as I think of you turning into a monster, I feel happy." Yun Chujio narrowed her eyes. "Happy?" Buttface beat him up. Let him feel happy again. Buttface immediately called a group of dumb cuties to beat Xiaomo up. Hearing Xiaomo's miserable cry, the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect trembled like a sieve. This stinky girl actually contracted a demon? She even put the demon into a spirit beast bag? And she even beat him up casually? Oh God, what kind of pervert had he fallen into? At this moment, a shout came from afar. "Director Xiaofu Yanqingqing, where are you?" Yun Chujia's eyes flashed as she said to the trembling 1,000-year corpse turtle emperor bug. "From now on, you are Director Xiaofu. Be smart or I will kill you." The 1,000-year corpse turtle emperor bug's regret was like a torrential river. If it knew that this little girl was so perverted, it should not have provoked her in the bloodthirsty insect valley. If it had not provoked her, it would definitely be enjoying the worsh. How could it suffer such cowardice? However, what was the use of saying all this now? It was better to be obedient or else it would really die. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug said obsequiously, "Lord Demon, what should I do? If I hear the word demon from your mouth again, it'll cut off your tongue. In a while you'll say this, do you hear me?" The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor was so frightened that it trembled and hurriedly agreed, almost kneeling on the ground and kowtowing. At this moment a few people rushed over. The leader was Lecturer Yao, followed by Nangong Shi, Jiang Shuangli and the others. Nangong Shi and Jiang Shuangli heaved a sigh of relief when they saw that Yun Chujio was safe and sound. They were extremely anxious up there, but Lecturer Yao refused to take out the rope. In the end, the two of them threatened to commit suicide. Only then did Lecturer Yao take out another rope. Chapter 58-27 Apology. Lecturer Yao originally thought that Vice-Chancellor Xiao had already killed Yan Qingqing, but now that he saw that although Yan Qingqing was covered in blood, her life should not be in any danger. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect said according to the explanation that Yun Chujio had just taught him, I seem to have been accidentally poisoned just now, so I had an illusion and almost made a big mistake. Fortunately, I regained my consciousness at the critical moment. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. I have just obtained Yan Qingqing's understanding. When I return to the academy, I will sincerely apologize to the dean. Lecturer Yao, Nangong Shi, and the others were dumbfounded. However, it was indeed unusual for Vice-Chancellor Xiao to publicly chop off Yan Qingqing's leg. No matter how much he disliked Yan Qingqing, he shouldn't have killed her in public. It turned out that he was poisoned and lost his mind. This made sense. He Xingjiu also cooperated and said, Vice Director Xiaofu has already apologized to me just now. The trial is more important. Let's go up first. Lecturer Yao said a few conciliatory words, and the few of them immediately turned back. After they climbed up, Nangong Shi said in a cold voice, Vice Director Xiaotu, you lost your mind because you were poisoned, but Xiao Lianxiao is very clear-headed. She had just let go of the rope, causing Yan Qingqing to fall. If not for her cleverness, she would have been dead by now. You should at least give an explanation, right? He Xingjiu had forgotten about this. When she heard Nangong Shi's words, she immediately said angrily, no wonder I fell. It was Xiao Lianqiu's doing. Director Xiaofu, what do you say? The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor thought, how would it know what to say? Fortunately, Yun Chujio used her spiritual sense to teach him the excuse. He immediately walked up to the indignant Xiao Lianxiao and gave her 2 tight slaps. Xiao Lianqiu's originally delicate face immediately turned into a pig's head. I really indulged you too much. Now, you actually treat the life of your classmate as a child's game. Tell me, did you do it on purpose? Did you want to see how tight the rope was? A moment of carelessness led to a big mistake? Xiao Lianxiao was not stupid. She immediately followed the conversation and said, Second uncle, I really didn't do it on purpose. I just wanted to see whether the rope was tight or not. I saw that the rope was a little loose and wanted to fix it, but I didn't expect it to be in the wrong direction, so I loosened the rope. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect snorted, no matter what, yo. Xiao Lianqiu's heart was filled with hatred, but she also knew that Director Xiaofu was trying to help her get out of it. She reluctantly said to Yun Chujio, I'm sorry, it's my fault. Yun Chujio pouted, is it over just because I'm sorry? If it's useful to be sorry, I'll kill you and then say sorry to your corpse. Yo. Xiao Lianxiao was about to refute, but when she saw Director Zaifa's cold gaze, she had no choice but to shut her mouth and not speak. How about this, for the sake of Director Xiaofu, you give me 10 million high-grade spirit stones and I'll reluctantly forgive you. Otherwise, I'll complain to President Gu and make you withdraw from school. Yun Chujio said with her lips curled. Xiao Lianxiao was naturally unwilling, but seeing that Director Xiaofu had no intention of helping her, she could only reluctantly give the spirit stones to Yun Chujio. She had already been extorted by Yun Chujio once, and now she was completely broke. Director Xiaofu then said, hurry up and continue to set off. Chapter 58-28 Is this a silly dog? Buttface, who was in Yun Chujio's spirit beast bag, said in confusion, Little fairy, that little grasshopper is now your bug. Why do you still want to keep that little bitch Xiao Lianxiao? Can't you just kill her? Because we have to maintain the character of Vice Director Xiaofu. If he rashly wants to kill Xiao Lianxiao, it will definitely attract the suspicion of others. In addition, Xiao Lianqiu's grandfather is the vice president of the Myriad City Alliance. If the little grasshopper kills her, it will definitely attract unnecessary trouble, and its identity might be exposed. So, Pila let her play around for a few days. Anyway, I have a way to deal with her, Yun Chujio explained. Buttface thought of Xiao Lianqiu's swollen pig-like face, and absolutely believed that Yun Chujio would make her life worse than death. This guy immediately flattered, Little fairy, you really have foresight. I really admire you. Shamo, who was beaten to a living hell, snorted, The majestic fierce beast has become a lapdog. It's simply a disgrace. It's useless to flatter her. When she turns into a corpse, the first thing she will suck is your blood. Buttface immediately glared at him and said, "What do you know? It's my honor to be able to sacrifice myself for the little fairy. If the little fairy wants to suck my blood now, I'm willing. What does my dog life count for? As long as the little fairy is happy, I, Buttface, will go through fire and water." "Shimo, is this a silly dog?" Buttface blinked his dog eyes. "Tiske. You old fool, what do you know?" The little fairy had gone through countless storms and waves. Even Tian Dao could not kill her. What was a mere corpse chi? He wasn't that idiot Hun Dun leaving at this time. He was giving himself a hard time. How could the little fairy not be touched by his loyalty when the little fairy was in danger? No matter how many spirit pets the little fairy had in the future, the position of the number one spirit pet would always belong to him, Buttface. Sure enough, when Hei Xinjiu heard Buttface's words, although she knew it was a little exaggerated, she still rewarded him with a roasted chicken, which made Buttface so beautiful. This fellow was very self-satisfied. Whether it was a human or a spiritual pet, they all had to have brains. Although Buttface was now a little trash with his clever brain and obedience, he still managed to get to the throne of the number one spiritual pet. Those idiots could not be compared to him. Shimo looked at the smug Buttface with disdain. Indeed, what kind of person raised what kind of spiritual beast? This stupid dog was just as annoying as that smelly girl. However, if that smelly girl really turned into a corpse, he wouldn't be able to live, let alone find that girl. He had to. Otherwise, he could make up a way to get rid of the corpse aura and use it to blackmail that smelly girl? Shimo felt that this method was feasible and began to think hard. In the next 2 days, everyone searched for another sinkhole and it was quite smooth. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect found an opportunity to call Yun Chujio to a place where no one was around and said with a sob, "Ba Overlord, I found a serious problem." Yun Chujio was too lazy to correct its name and asked, "What problem?" When that fool was alive, he would cultivate every day, so his body naturally had a lot of spiritual power. I only needed to absorb the spiritual power he cultivated. However, now that that idiot is dead, I don't know how you humans cultivate. My spiritual energy is about to be exhausted. What should I do? Chapter 58-29. The little grasshopper with a strong desire for survival. Yun Chujio frowned. Do you need to ask me that? Just cultivate according to your cultivation method. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect immediately said excitedly, "Well, I cultivate corpse chi. Who do you think I should kill?" Yun Chujio, it would be better if you killed yourself. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle did not know what Hei Xinjiu was thinking. It said eagerly, "How about I kill that Xiao Yanxiao? Anyway, she has always offended you. It's good to kill her." Yun Chujio took a deep breath. You'd better give up this idea as soon as possible. You don't have to use human corpses to cultivate corpse chi. Isn't it the same if you use the corpses of demonic beasts? They'll transfer some demon beast corpses to you. You can make do with them first. Although the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect preferred to use human corpses to cultivate, it had no choice but to lower its head under the roof. It could only accept the demon beast corpses that Yun Chujio transferred to it. Overlord. You can call me little fairy or you can call me master. Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. Overlord, don't call me concubine. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect immediately changed his words. Master, how much longer do I have to bear this body? You also know that this body is poisoned by the corpse poison. Sooner or later it will rot. When that time comes, it will be exposed. Yun Chujio said indifferently, when that time comes, just find a reason to disappear. As for you, just find another person to possess it. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor said weakly, Well, master, there's something that you might have misunderstood. Yun Chujio suddenly had an ominous premonition in her heart. What is it? My original body was destroyed by you guys, and my cultivation was inevitably weakened by a bit. Therefore, I'm afraid I can't possess another person's body. Moreover, the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor stuttered for a long time but didn't dare to say anything else. In the end, it gritted its teeth and said, Moreover, once I leave this skin bag, I will turn into a worm egg. However, don't worry, I will hatch very soon. I will become the overlord of the worms very soon. Yun Chujio. It would be a ghost if she believed it. The reason was very simple. Which of the idiots in her spiritual beast pouch had not told her that in the beginning? But in the end? Each one was more useless than the last. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug carefully looked at Yun Chujio's expression. It was also very helpless. Its original plan was to destroy the corpse stabilizing pearl first, and then leave it in Director Xaiaphas' body to absorb spiritual power and turn it into an egg. When it hatched, it would be the day Director Xiaofu died. Who would have thought that the plan was all messed up now? It was also very bitter, okay? Yun Chujio felt that the worst thing she had done in her life was to contract this little grasshopper. Not only was it useless, but it also implicated her in getting infected by the corpse chi. Damn it, it had to turn into an insect egg in the end? She was so angry that she was going to die. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug was afraid that Yun Chujio would kill it in a fit of anger, so it showed an extremely strong desire to survive. Master, I am useful. I'm useful. Think about it, I don't need your spiritual stones to cultivate, and I don't need your lightning strike stones. You just need to give me a few corpses. If you go to a place without spiritual aura, I will be your #1 killer weapon. Master, apart from that, I will also tell ghost stories. I guarantee that you will feel a cold breeze behind your back when you hear it, and you won't dare to sleep at night. Yun Chujio, now she wanted to kill this fellow even more. What the hell? Chapter 58 30 Conditions of Goeibutsu. Yun Chujio glared at the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug and asked, by the way, who was the person who hatched the bodies of you grasshoppers? Why did the corpse-fixing pearl end up in the pool? Seeing that Yun Chujio had changed the topic, the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that its little life was saved. It quickly said eagerly, it's not an extraordinary person. It should be the ancestral grave of a cultivation family. The ancestral grave was originally sealed, but as time passed, the ancestral grave was connected to the underground river. By chance, the corpse-stabilizing pearl flowed into the pool. Yun Chujio nodded. The little grasshopper should not have lied to her. A few days ago, a few major forces had joined forces to investigate the bloodthirsty insect valley. If the ruins were really shocking, the news would have spread long ago. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug felt that it was necessary to show its desire to live so that it would not die. It said obsequiously, Master, although you have been infected with corpse chi because of the contract with me, the speed of the corpse transformation is very slow, so you don't have to worry too much. Perhaps one day you will find a way to crack it. Yun Chujio glanced at the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug that was being mentioned. A bug was a bug and its intelligence was really worrying. Fortunately, she did not intend to kill it, or else it would have turned into a dead bug long ago. At this time, the Goei Batsao in her dantian began to act cutely. To be more precise, it was showing off. Yun Chujio's heart moved, and she quickly cut off the spiritual connection with Xiaomo. She said to the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug, help me be on guard. No matter what happens to me later, don't get involved, do you hear me? The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug was confused, but it still nodded and stood to the side to be on guard. Immediately, Goei Batsao took over Hei Xinjia's body. It first waved its arms a few times in a smug manner before it said, little girl, why did you let me out? Do you need something from me? PM a person no im a grass. PM most willing to help others. Tell me, what is it that you need from me? The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug immediately widened its eyes. Oh my god, what is going on? Could it be that this pervert was possessed by something? Alright, she had signed a contract with the devil. Could it be that she was possessed by the devil? Yun Chujio heard Goei Bakao's smug words and said calmly, Goei Batsao, you and I are now on the same boat. Even if I turn into a corpse, you won't be any better than me. Therefore it's not a matter of. We are just working together for a win-win situation. Although Yun Chujio's words were very calm, she was overjoyed in her heart. Since Goei Batsao was so smug, it must be able to swallow corpse chi. She was also dumbfounded. Since Goei Batsao could swallow corpse poison, it naturally could swallow corpse chi. Goei Batsao originally wanted to pinch Hei Xinjiao, but now that it was being rebuked, its aura immediately weakened. However, the conditions that needed to be mentioned still needed to be mentioned. I can help you dissolve the corpse chi, but this will consume my energy, so you have to compensate me. I want 10,000 gene of heaven rank herbs, 20,000 high-grade pills, and you have to let me out for a stroll. Otherwise, I won't care about you anymore. Anyway, even if you turn into a corpse, I can totally find another container. It's not like I have to rely on you. Yun Chujio sneered. Really? Then forget it. Anyway, I can't have sex with a gigolo because of voucher. It's meaningless to live for a long time. Why not go and harm the demon race? Maybe I can even make a name for myself in history. Chapter 58:31 Goei Batsao became anxious when she heard that. Don't. We can bargain in this business. If you think I want too much, we can discuss again. How about a 50% discount? Go Weiba, I was almost shot into a sieve by the thunder cone tree seed because of you. Is this how you repay me? Besides, devouring corpse chi should be beneficial to you, right? Let me ask you one last question. Are you going to help or not? Yun Chujio asked coldly. Goei Batsao was frightened by the cold chi emitted by Yun Chujio's spiritual sense. After weighing the pros and cons in his heart, he squeezed out a fake smile and said, I am joking with you. However, I really didn't lie to you. If it is corpse poison, I will swallow it and it can be replenished. However, the corpse chi is different from the corpse poison. If I wanted to dissolve it, it would take a lot of energy. However, who asked us to be so fated? I will give it all to you for free. Yun Chujio said calmly, since you are so sensible, I will not mistreat you. There are still a lot of medicinal herbs in the little grasshopper storage ring. I want to come over and feed it to you. The smile on Goei Bakao's face immediately became much more sincere. Little girl, no grandmother, you are really a kind and good person. I will help you dissolve the corpse chi. After saying that, Goei Batsao returned the control of its body to Hei Shinjio. It eagerly began to absorb the corpse chi that had invaded Yun Chujio's spiritual sense and body. Yun Chujio narrowed her eyes. This cunning Goei Batsao. It could have dissolved the corpse chi at the first moment the corpse chi invaded, but it had waited until today to show off. It was obviously trying to make her suffer in order to blackmail her. Trying to blackmail her? In your dreams. She waved at the dumbfounded 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug. Little grasshopper, come here. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug quickly came over and asked with a mysterious face, Master, what the hell was that? It can actually dissolve corpse chi? It can't be lying to you, right? I've never heard of anyone who can dissolve corpse at first. It thought that Yun Chujio had been possessed by the demon race. However, after hearing the muttering of Goei Batsao, it could also hear some clues, but it was still confused. It's a Goei Batsao that I raised. You don't have to ask. Also, when I talk to Sha Mo in the future, don't mention this matter, understand? Yun Chujio said solemnly. Although the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug was extremely curious, it didn't dare to ask too much. In its heart, it was still skeptical. Was there really something that could dissolve the corpse chi? Wasn't this too unbelievable? It quickly thought of another question. What kind of ghost grass could dissolve the corpse chi? Wouldn't it be able to dissolve it? The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug immediately shivered, feeling that its little life was even less secure. Due to the corpse chi infecting the corpse stabilizing pearl, its effects were no longer as good as before. Now, it was only restricting its cultivation. This ghost grass that had appeared out of nowhere was its nemesis. It decided to keep its tail between its legs from now on so that it wouldn't accidentally lose its life. After Yun Chujio finished instructing the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect, she was about to return to the encampment when she heard Buttface say, Little fairy, the old fool said that he has something important to say to you. Yun Chujio's heart stirred. She instructed the dumb cubs to keep their mouths shut about what had happened just now. Only then did she open Sha Mo's spiritual sense and lightly said, Sha Mo, are you looking for me? Sha Mo, are you looking for me? Could it be that you've gotten over it and want to bring me to the demon continent to harm your demon race? Chapter 5832 The Supreme Demonic Code. Sha Mo snorted coldly, I've thought of a way to dissolve the corpse chi, but you have to agree to one condition of mine. Yun Chujio pretended to be overjoyed and said excitedly, What? Is what you said true? Have you really thought of a way to dissolve the corpse chi? Tell me, what is it? The other dumb cuties were already used to Hei Xinjia's acting attribute, but a certain little grasshopper did not know about it. Immediately, her eyes widened. My goodness, no wonder I was deceived by her. This is simply the essence of acting. Seeing Yun Chujio's performance, Sha Mo sneered in his heart. No matter how cunning this wretched girl was at this moment, her life was at stake and she was also fooled. He suppressed the joy in his heart and said without batting an eyelid, I can tell you this method, but you have to agree to my conditions. What conditions? Cancel the contract between you and me and release me. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. Yes, but I have to prove that the method you said is effective. Otherwise, what if you lie to me? Besides, you said earlier that the corpse chi could not be dissolved. Why do you have a method now? Sha Mo was not surprised that Yun Chujio would say that. He immediately said, Initially, I also thought that the corpse chi could not be dissolved. However, after thinking hard for the past few days, I suddenly remembered something. I have told you before that among the 6 great demon clans, the Heavenly Demon Clan is the noblest. They also have many cultivation techniques that we cannot compare to. Among them, the most famous cultivation technique is the Supreme Demon Book. I've heard that the Supreme Demon Book has the effect of dissolving corpse chi. Since you're a demon, if you think of a way to cultivate the Supreme Demon Book, you can naturally dissolve the corpse chi on your body. Yun Chujio said with doubt, "Is what you said true? You told me the method. Aren't you afraid that I won't keep my word?" Shaimo laughed. "Of course not, because without me, you won't be able to find the entrance to the demon continent in a short time. Without my recommendation, you won't even be able to be a part of the heavenly demon race, let alone cultivate the supreme demonic code. This is a serious matter, let me think about it," Yun Chujio said with some difficulty. Shaimo seemed to have expected this situation and said, "I know that you might have some concerns if I ask you to cancel the contract with me directly. How about this? You also know that I'm looking for someone. Help me inquire about this person first as a reward for providing you with the information." Yun Chujio narrowed her eyes. "Aren't you afraid that after I find that person, he'll tell the others that he's a demon and then?" First, you're a demon. It's not good for you to do this. Second, and most importantly, you're afraid of death. If you do that, with your own strength, you won't be able to find the entrance to the demon continent in a short period of time. So, you can only cooperate with me, Shaimo said with some certainty. Shaimo racked his brains for a few days before he came up with such a perfect plan. This way he could use the power of this stinky girl to find the person he thought of and restrain her. It was like killing two birds with one stone. "Give me a day to think about it. They'll give you an answer tomorrow night," Yun Chujio said after thinking for a while. "Okay." Shaimo was very proud. Although he didn't show it clearly, Buttface and the other dumb cuties could see that he was in a good mood. The dumb cuties lit a candle in their hearts for him. The little fairy had clearly found a way to dissolve the corpse chi, but this old fool thought that his evil plan had succeeded. How pitiful. Chapter 58:33. There is true love in the human world. The next night, Hei Shinjio once again established a spiritual connection with Shaimo. "Shaimo, I agree to your conditions. I will help you find the person you are looking for first, then I will go to the demon continent with you. At that time I will restore your freedom. However, I will not cancel the demon god contract with you before we arrive at the demon continent. After we reach the demon continent and successfully interact with the heavenly demon race, I will break the contract with you." Although Shaimo was not very satisfied with this result, it was already the biggest benefit he could fight for at the moment. Hence, he nodded, "All right, we will do as you say. Actually, we are both demons. There is really no need for us to be like fire and water. We should support each other." Yun Chujio sighed. "What you said makes sense, but you're a legitimate demon. I'm just a nameless wild demon now, so I have to plan for myself." "Oh right, what clues do you have about the person you asked me to find?" Shaimo had made up his mind to cooperate with Yun Chujio for the time being, so he naturally did not hide anything. He said, "I want to find the demon emperor of our demon race." That year, the demon emperor left the demon continent and said that he wanted to visit other continents. In the beginning, the demon emperor would occasionally send back some news, but later on he completely lost contact. We found that the demon emperor's life lamp was almost extinguished, so we immediately sent many people to various continents to find the demon emperor. However, we didn't expect that many demons were killed by the human race for no reason. Naturally, we demons wouldn't let this go. We immediately went to the human race to reason with them, and in the end, a large-scale war broke out. Yun Chujio, wasn't it recorded in the history books that the demons were ferocious and aggressive, taking the initiative to start a war? So it turned out to be a bloody case because they were looking for someone? This demon emperor was also the same. He was staying in the demon continent for no reason. Why did he come out to wander around for no reason? Is he crazy? After the war broke out, your demon emperor didn't show up? Yun Chujio asked curiously. Shaimo sighed. Yes, His Majesty the Demon Emperor is the most protective. Logically speaking, when the demon race was in great trouble, he would definitely stand up. However, he didn't show up. He must have met with an accident. Fortunately, our demon race is immortal. His Majesty the Demon Emperor must have been reincarnated. When I think of how much suffering His Majesty the Demon Emperor has suffered in this lowly human continent, I feel very guilty. The more Shaimo spoke, the sadder he became. In the end, he even burst into tears. Yun Chujio could feel that Shaimo was truly sad. She sighed in her heart. Regardless of whether it was a human or a demon, they all had true feelings. It was true that there were true feelings in the human world. This fellow sighed for a while before saying, "All right, don't cry anymore. In my opinion, this matter is also because of that so-called demon emperor of yours. Why did he wander around for no reason? If it wasn't for him wandering around, the demon race and the human race wouldn't have started a war. Before Yun Chujio could finish her words, Shaimo interrupted her angrily. Shut up. If you continue to speak rudely to His Majesty the Demon Emperor, I will risk my old life to perish together with you. Yun Chujio was shocked by Shaimo's angry roar and curled her lips. What are you shouting for? Am I wrong? What do you know? The Demon Emperor didn't come out for a stroll. In short, His Majesty the Demon Emperor has spent all his efforts for our demon race and is worthy of every demoness loyalty. What I can do now is to find the reincarnation of His Majesty the Demon Emperor as soon as possible and escort him back to the demon continent, so that he won't suffer in this lowly human continent again. Chapter 58-34 Demon Emperor Hei Shinjio saw that Shaimo was very excited, so she tactfully did not continue to provoke him. Instead she said, after talking for a long time, is your demon emperor a man or a woman? How does he look? If you want me to help you find him, you should at least give me some clues, right? Our demon emperor is naturally a man. He is beautiful and unparalleled. He is the object of love for all the women of the demon race. I believe that even if he is reincarnated, our demon emperor will be extraordinary. Yun Chujio could not help but roll her eyes. The Shaimo was a hardcore fan of the demon emperor. Alright. I know that your demon emperor is hard to find in the sky and hard to find on earth. But there are many handsome men. You have to give me some valuable clues, right? Otherwise, how can I find a needle in a haystack for you? Or, why don't you draw a portrait of your demon emperor and let me have a 100k? Shaimo was instantly delighted. That's right, I forgot about this. Yun Chujio was speechless. This Shaimo had most likely been locked up for a long time and had really become silly. She immediately let Shaimo out and threw him a brush, ink, paper and ink stone. She asked him to draw the demon emperor's face. Since there was a 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug watching the scene, she was not afraid that someone would come close to this place. Soon Shaimo finished drawing a portrait, which almost made Hei Shinjio cringe. Shaimo's drawing skills were not bad. On the paper he drew a man in luxurious clothes. However, what the fuck was that red mask on his face? What was the difference between this and no drawing? One could not see his real face at all. When she was complaining, she saw Shaimo kneeling on the ground and kowtowing to the portrait respectfully. Your Majesty, I've let you down. Don't worry, I will find you as soon as possible and escort you back to the demon continent. Hei Shinjio felt a bit touched despite being amused. Shaimo was very loyal to the demon emperor. After Shaimo stood up, Yun Chujio asked curiously, Shaimo PM confused. Why are you so loyal to the demon emperor? As the saying goes, the emperor takes turns to be the emperor. When he comes to my home next year, is he so worthy of your loyalty? Shaimo's eyes revealed a look of reverence. Perhaps you also know that 10,000 years ago, before the war between humans and demons, there was a great war between gods and demons. After the first great war between gods and demons, the demon race suffered heavy casualties. What was worse was that due to some reasons, the 6 great demon races began to fight non-stop. The entire demon race continent was in a bloody mess and was. He used his own strength to resolve the conflict between the 6 races, allowing the demon race continent to flourish once again. If not for the demon emperor, our demon race continent might have long ceased to exist. Therefore, the demon emperor is the savior of all the demons. He is worthy of our loyalty with our lives. Yun Chujio nodded. In that case, she could understand Shaimo's actions. The devil emperor is so powerful. He should be from the heavenly devil race, right? Yun Chujio asked curiously. Shaimo shook his head. No one knows where he came from, nor does anyone know his background. We all think that His Majesty the Devil Emperor was sent by the devil god to save us. He might even be the reincarnation of the devil god. Yun Chujio sighed. Shaimo, although you have the portrait, you can't see his face at all. This doesn't have any reference. Is there no other clue? There is another clue. There is a bright red mark on the demon emperor's forehead. Legend has it that it is because of this mark that the demon emperor always wore that red mask. Shaimo said. Chapter 58-35 Look like you? Nothing else? What else? There isn't any magic tool or anything like that that can sense him? Hei Shinjio was speechless. Although the red mole between her brows was a clue, it was not rare. Moreover, where could she find him in this vast sea of people? Shaimo also knew that it would be more difficult to find him, so he said, look for him according to what I said. If you still can't find the Devil Emperor within 3 years, I will also tell you the entrance to the Devil Continent. Yun Chujio could only nod and put Xiaomo back into the spirit beast bag. Then she took a look at the portrait. In fact, she originally thought that the person Xiaomo was looking for was Shui Wuji. However, she didn't know Xiaomo's original intention, so she didn't reveal it. However, after looking at the portrait, she immediately dismissed the idea that the demon emperor was Shui Wuji. The man in the portrait was obviously thinner and smaller than Shui Wuji. Furthermore, Shui Wuji did not have a red mole on his forehead. Although it was normal for his appearance to change if he was reincarnated, Xiaomo said that even if he was reincarnated, the red mole would still exist. That would completely deny the possibility that Shui Wuji was the demon emperor. When the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor saw that Yun Chujio had kept Xiaomo, it eagerly came over. Previously, it did not believe that this pervert had really taken in a demon. Now it seemed that it was absolutely true. Not only did it take in a demon, but it was also that kind of old demon. It seemed that even if it fell into her hands, it was normal and it was not considered a disgrace. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor looked at the portrait curiously and said in surprise, Master, why does this portrait look like you? Look at this figure, this face shape, it's obviously you. Yun Chujio glared at it. Are you blind? This is a man, okay. Although I have a figure, yes, I'm a little thin, but PM's still a woman, okay? Besides, I don't have a red mole between my eyebrows. How could I be the demon emperor? The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor was scolded so much that it shrunk its neck. That's true. I was wrong. Although it said that, in its heart, it was mumbling. It looked very similar, okay. But there was a difference between a man and a woman. It was probably a coincidence. It lowered its voice. Master, are you really going to help that old demon find the demon emperor? Your corpse energy has already been dissolved. Why are you still lying to him? Yun Chujio curled her lips. It's fun, what do you care? The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug. Yun Chujio ignored it, put away the portrait and walked back to the camp. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug followed behind embarrassedly. When it was about to reach the camp, it disguised itself as Deputy Director Zaifa's usual appearance. He had just entered his tent when Xiao Yanxiao came. She said unhappily, Second uncle, why have you been so close to that Yan Qingqing recently? You can't be drugged by her, right? Why are you suddenly so good to her? The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor said with a cold face, Stupid. We fought with her before. If I don't stabilize her a little, what if she won't forgive me when I return to the academy? Xiao Yanxiao said indifferently, What are you afraid of her for? At the very most, Pila let grandfather step in. Second uncle, if this Yan Qingqing doesn't die, I won't be able to get the northern you. Please help me think of a way to kill her tomorrow during the trial. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug cursed in its heart. If it had a way to kill that pervert, it would have done it long ago. Why wait until now? Xiao Yanxiao saw that it did not say anything and pleaded, Second uncle, you loved me the most in the past. Please help me again. As long as I kill Yan Qingqing, I will definitely have a way to get the Northern Imperial Army. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect was already filled with anger after being rebuked by Yun Chujio. Looking at Xiao Yanxiao, who was chattering non-stop, it suddenly became furious and gave her a hard slap. You useless thing, get lost. Chapter 58-36 The insect's life could not be saved. Xiao Yanxiao was simply stunned by the beating. Her face, which had been swollen by the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect, was finally restored to its original state after much difficulty. She did not expect that it would turn into a pig's head again. Second uncle, you hit me? Previously, you hit me saying that it was for others to see. This time there are only the two of us. Why did you hit me? I want to send a message to grandfather, asking him to make the decision for me. Xiao Yanxiao said with tears. The 1,000-year corpse turtle emperor insect was somewhat regretful. If that pervert knew that it had ruined the matter, he definitely wouldn't forgive it, so it quickly made up for it. Sigh. If you're willing to tell, then tell. Hitting your body and hurting my heart, I was too anxious. Xiao Yanxiao saw that it was regretful and distressed, so she took out the voice transmission talisman and put it back. Second uncle, what do you mean by this? The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor saw that she put away the voice transmission talisman and heaved a sigh of relief. You're thinking too simply. Even if we want to make a move, we can't do it this time. The previous incident was so big. If anything happens to Yan Qingqing, we'll be the first suspect. That's not all. The main thing is that Nangong Shi and Jiang Shuangli have been keeping an eye on Yan Qingqing's whereabouts. If they catch us, won't we be in trouble? Don't worry. In a few days, you will be brought to the Six Harmonies Waterside Pavilion to train. At that time, I will think of a way to get rid of her. These words were told by He Xinjiu to deal with Xiao Lianxiao. She did not expect them to come in handy so soon. Xiao Lianxiao saw that what the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect said made sense. Although she was reluctant, she still nodded. All right, second uncle, I'll listen to you. Second uncle, it's not that I'm too impatient. The main thing is that Jian Zhuyu, that bitch, will be back in a few days. When that time comes, it'll be attacked from both sides. It'll be even more difficult to deal with. How would the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect know what the hell Jian Zhuyu was? It could only vaguely say, "I'll make the decision for you." What are you afraid? Xiao Lianxiao nodded gratefully. Second uncle, I knew that you loved me the most. Then I'll go back first. Okay. After Xiao Lianxiao left, the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor eagerly told Yun Chujio about what had happened. This guy wanted to hide it, but Xiao Lianqiao's swollen face could not be hidden. Yun Chujio did not say anything, she just told it to be more careful in the future. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor let out a sigh of relief. It cursed in its heart. This little pervert was not so hard to please. It recalled the conversation between Yun Chujio and Xia Mo from before. The more it thought about it, the more it felt that the devil emperor and that little pervert in the portrait were very imaginary. Could this little pervert really be the devil emperor? Regardless of whether it was the devil emperor or not, this little pervert was not an ordinary pervert. It would definitely be obedient in the future so that it would not accidentally lose its life. In the next few days, the progress of the trial was very smooth. With the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug as a cover, He Xinjiu was very handy in absorbing the power of the lightning hidden underground. On the day before the scheduled return journey, a sudden change occurred. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug looked at the gathering dark clouds in the sky and felt the increasing pressure. Its face immediately turned pale with fright. It used its spiritual perception to say to Yun Chujio, "Wu Yun, you're dead. Master, it's over. It's over. This time I can't save my life. Tian Dao must know that I've possessed a human body, so he came to strike me. Why am I so unlucky? Didn't I just possess a fool's body? Is there a need for such a huge battle to strike me? Woo-woo, I really can't survive this time." Chapter 58:37. It seemed that it had been deceived again after listening to the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug's words. He Xinjiu said with a righteous look, "Little grasshopper, don't worry. I'm the most protective person. Since you're my bug, I'll protect you even if I have to risk my life. When the heavenly lightning strikes later, you can take the others and leave. Leave everything to me." The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug couldn't believe its ears. The little pervert was actually so good to it? He actually risked his life to save it. Knew its own limits. Its status definitely couldn't compare to the spiritual pets that this little pervert had previously taken in. Moreover, because of it, the little pervert had been infected with corpse chi. It would be good enough if it didn't kill it. Who would have thought that during a time of danger she would actually say such heartfelt words? It really touched it. "Master Wu, you are really too good to me. If I am lucky enough to not die this time, I will definitely repay you well in the future," the 1,000-year corpse turtle emperor insect said emotionally. Yun Chujio said indifferently, "You are my insect, I will naturally protect you." Hearing this, the 1,000-year corpse turtle emperor insect felt that it had acknowledged a good master that was hard to find in the world. Now, even if He Xinjiu wanted it to die, it was also willing. The other dumb cubs in the spirit beast bag were extremely sympathetic to a certain stupid grasshopper. If one day it found out the truth, would it cry out? At this time, Lecturer Yao walked forward with a worried expression and said, "Vice-Chancellor Xiao, there will be heavenly lightning descending on this 100 Pits mountain range very soon. Let's quickly find a safe place to hide." The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug nodded in agreement. Could not wait to hide. This was heavenly lightning, how frightening it was. However, what everyone didn't expect was that Wu Yun would follow them no matter which direction they hid in. It was as if he wouldn't stop until they were killed. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug was about to cry. It was over, it was over. Tian Dao was determined to kill it. At this moment, He Xinjiu's voice was transmitted from its spiritual perception. "I've contaminated your corpse chi. I can use some other methods to lure Wu Yun away. After I go missing, don't let Nangong Shi and Jiang Shuangli look for me." The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect was extremely touched. It must have saved the divine enlightenment continent in its previous life. Otherwise, how could it have met such a good master? "Master, every insect has its own way of doing things. The heavenly lightning." Let me distract Wu Yun. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect said tragically. The insect would die for its best friend. Since the little pervert was so good to it, how could it just watch her die for it? Seeing it like this, Hei Shinjio felt a rare pain in her conscience, so she comforted it. Don't worry. I have the heavenly lightning spiritual root, so I can withstand more lightning strikes than you. Moreover, don't I still have an old devil? If it really can't, then bring him out and take the lightning strikes for me. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor saw that Yun Chujia's attitude was firm, and what she said made sense, so it could only agree. At this time the dark clouds were pressing down, and the sky was completely dark. Hei Shinjio took advantage of the fact that everyone's attention was on the dark clouds, and slithered into the bushes next to Wu Yun. Then she trotted away from everyone. Almost at the moment that she left, the dark clouds in the sky also moved. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug's eyes turned red when it saw Wu Yun leaving. It swore with its life that from now on, it would be the little pervert's bug. It would never abandon it. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug had just finished swearing when it suddenly thought of a question. The heavenly lightning spirit root seemed to be forbidden by the Tian Dao. So the question was the heavenly lightning here to strike it or the little pervert? It seemed to have been deceived again. Chapter 58:38. No less the more the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect thought about it, the more it felt that its guess was right. It was angry and helpless. This little pervert was simply the essence of acting, making it impossible for the insect to guard against him. When it thought about the poison vow that it had just made, it wished that it could give it a slap. It was simply too stupid. However, what it had just made was the death vow of the insect race. Could not cancel it at all. Woo, it wanted to die. On the other side, Hei Shinjio jogged all the way, and when she saw Wu Yun chasing after her, she was practically bursting with joy. Although the lightning strike stone could also be used for cultivation, how could it be as powerful as the heavenly lightning? This heavenly lightning came at just the right time. To be on the safe side, this fellow ran all the way without stopping, running for more than 100 baili in one breath before stopping. She raised her head and looked at Wu Yun, who followed closely behind. Wasn't this the piece of cloud that struck her in the lower house last time? Was he here to take revenge? Hey, silly Yun in the sky, are you here to take revenge on me? Come and strike me. Hei Shinjio said provocatively, looking as if she was asking for a beating. Wu Yun in the sky was quite angry. He immediately sent a bolt of lightning to strike Hei Shinjio. Hei Shinjio was struck by the lightning, and she said with satisfaction, "It feels good. Feels good. Feels really good. Little silly Yun, come, strike miss a few more times." The dark clouds in the sky were almost fuming with anger. How could such a freak appear in the divine enlightenment continent? It would definitely strike her to death today. Boom, boom, boom. Several bolts of lightning struck Hei Shinjio again. Hei Shinjio thought that it was better to have fun alone than to have fun together, so she took out Xiao Mogu, Xiao Hanyo, and the phoenix egg that had been difficult to give birth to for several years to be struck. This fellow thought for a moment and also released its red claws. The whole family had to be together in an orderly fashion, not a single one missing. The other cute pets in the spirit beast bag. Are they ghosts? Xiao Hanyo's ability to attract aggro was not inferior to Hei Xinjia's. One of its short wings was placed on its waist, while the other pointed at the sky and said, "Hey, little fool in the sky, what are you standing there for? Go ahead and strike. Could it be that you've been charmed by my beauty? I advise you to give up on this idea. I've long had my heart set on someone else, and I don't fancy ugly clouds like you." Wu Yun in the sky was obviously very angry. Xiao Hanyo burped and said lazily, "This little bit of lightning is not enough to fill the gaps between my teeth. Come again if you have the ability." Wu Yun in the sky was so angry that he kept shaking. Xiao Hanyo received a few lightning strikes as he wished. He was very happy in his heart. Tieske, he was not an idiot like Buttface. What was the point of flattering him for no reason? It was only true to improve his cultivation. The strong were respected. As long as he cultivated well, the position of the #1 spirit pet would always be his. After 15 minutes, Xiao Hanyo and the other two were full. Hei Shinjio put them away and continued to provoke Wu Yun. Bolts of lightning struck Hei Xinjia's body one after another. Although the lightning strikes were quite accurate, it was inevitable that they would miss. Soon, a deep pit appeared where Hei Shinjio was. As time passed, the surroundings of the deep pit began to collapse, and the area grew larger and larger. Hei Shinjio, who was almost buried alive, finally managed to escape with little Wu Yun. Looking at the deep pit that continued to collapse under her feet, a strange thought rose in her mind. Oh my, could it be that this 100-pit mountain range was a sin that she had committed in her previous life? Also, could it be that she was also the one who had done those holes in the lightning strike canyon? Chapter 58:39. Wicked Hei Shinjio touched her nose guiltily. She was really lively in her previous life. She had snatched the bell and the little wooden fish from the bitter Zen sect and turned Hun Dun into a bald lady. It seemed that De Hua had become a bachelor because of her sins. Now, even the Baikeng mountain range had something to do with her? Cough cough, she must have thought too much. It must have nothing to do with her. After all, she had always been very quiet. Wu Yun in the sky was even more confused than she was, because it saw the little Wu Yun that Hei Shinjio was sitting on. How was this possible? How could humans contract their noble Wu Yun? It must be an illusion. Yes, it was an illusion. However, it looked and looked again. The one flying in the pit was clearly a little Wu Yun. Although the cloud wings were still young and the cultivation level was still shallow, it was indeed a little Wu Yun. Wu Yun immediately began to plan. If it swallowed the small dark cloud, wouldn't it be a waste to pick up a few cloud wings? The more Wu Yun thought about it, the more excited he became. While he continued to strike Hei Shinjio with the heavenly lightning, he sneakily began to approach the small dark cloud. As the distance between them got closer and closer, Wu Yun became more and more excited. As long as he got closer, he could wrap the small dark cloud into the sky and forcefully swallow it. Just as it was getting excited, it suddenly saw Yun Chujio take out a strange-looking object and shoot some red liquid at it. Wu Yun did not care at all. What was it? Was Wu Yun? Anything poisonous would be useless against it. This stupid girl was really naive. At this moment, the red liquid shot onto one of Wu Yun's wings. Wu Yun, who was feeling proud, was dumbfounded. That was because it realized that it had lost control of the wings. The wings flew towards Wu Yun happily, and it was instantly fused with Wu Yun. Wu Yun, who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? Just as it was stunned, it realized that Yun Chujio was going to spray the liquid on it again. It immediately flew back into the sky. It was too terrifying. Too terrifying. What on earth was this stinky girl shooting at? It actually made its cloud wings betray it? Yun Chujio sighed regretfully. She was so close to getting another cloud wing. After Wu Yun's panic, it was filled with endless anger. It had to kill this stinky girl today. As long as she died, its cloud wings would come back. Thus, continuous heavenly lightning struck down at Hei Shinjio. At first, Hei Shinjio was able to withstand it. Later, when she saw that the heavenly lightning was getting stronger and stronger, she released Gowei Batsao to help her resist it. When her spiritual power was Alm. She did not open the spiritual connection with Shiamo previously, so Shiamo had no idea what was happening outside. He was released out of the blue and thought that Yun Chujio wanted to discuss with him about finding the demon emperor. Who would have thought that as soon as he was released, he would be struck by a few heavenly lightning bolts? Shiamo almost fainted from anger. He had seen wicked people before, but this was the first time he had seen such wicked people. Fortunately, Hei Shinjio still had a use for him. After letting him help withstand a few heavenly lightning bolts, she put him back into the spirit beast pouch. Wu Yun in the sky was obviously not well prepared this time. After Hei Xinjia's torment, its lightning power was almost used up. One could imagine the depression in its heart. Not only did it fail to take revenge, but it also lost a cloud wing. It had to hold its breath as much as possible. It was furious in its heart. Damn girl, just you wait. We'll see. Wu Yun trembled violently a few times and flew away in a fluster. Chapter 58:40. I had another epiphany lecture. Yao and the others watched as the Wu Yun finally drifted away. Only then did their hearts, which had been hanging in the air, finally come to a realization. It was too terrifying. Fortunately, there was still some distance between them and the Wu Yun. Otherwise, none of them would have survived. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug felt both happy and shocked when it realized that Yun Chujio was fine. Although it was beyond a certain distance and its master and spiritual pet could no longer communicate with each other, it could still feel the connection of spiritual sense. Oh my God, what kind of monster is this? How could such a powerful heavenly lightning not kill her? How did she do it? However, it was also true. A monster that could contract with such a great king of the insect clan was naturally not ordinary. In this case, it was not a disgrace for the insect clan to be deceived so many times. Just when the 1,000-year corpse turtle emperor insect was comforting itself, Nangong Shi said loudly, Director Xiaofu, now that the heavenly lightning has stopped, it's time for us to find Yan Qingqing, right? Previously, when Nangongshi realized that Yan Qingqing was missing, he immediately wanted to look for her, but was stopped by the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug. The 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor bug nodded. Of course. Let's look for Yan Qingqing together. Xiao Yanxiao curled her lips at the side. Who allowed her to act on her own accord? She deserved to be struck by lightning. Does she really think she's that great? She's just a trash at the 7th level of the divine enlightenment realm, yet she still recklessly walks around. She's really courting death. Nangongshi glared fiercely at Xiao Yanxiao, but in his heart, he also blamed He Xingjiu. In such a dangerous situation, why are you walking around? Can't you stop for a while? If something really happened to her, how would he explain it to Ding Wenru when he went back? Nangongshi was stunned when he thought of this. Why did he have to explain it to Ding Wenru? Well, everyone was familiar with each other, so they naturally had to explain. Well, that was it. Everyone searched and searched until they finally heard a cry for help near a sinkhole. Help! Help! Someone save this peerless beauty. Everyone. Why did he suddenly not want to save her? Nangongshi and Jiang Shuangli were very happy. It was great that Yan Qingqing was not dead. Lecturer Yao lowered the rope. 15 minutes later, He Xingjiu climbed up. Everyone looked at He Xingjiu, who was shining above their heads, with their mouths agape. He Xingjiu did not mind. She took out a handkerchief and tied. Lecturer Yao reprimanded, Yan Qingqing, why did you leave the team without permission? How did you come to the bottom of this sinkhole? Yun Chuzhou said with some excitement and some lingering fear, Lecturer Yao, when I was retreating earlier, I suddenly had an epiphany. Due to the sudden turn of events, I didn't have time to greet all of you. By the time I successfully had an epiphany, I would have turned into this wretched state. Epiphany? Only then did everyone realize that Yun Chujia's cultivation had actually soared from the 7th layer of the divine revelation to the 1st layer of the divine summoning. It seemed like she really had an epiphany. After all, if it wasn't for the epiphany, it was impossible for her to break through so many layers of cultivation. It was really fucking unreasonable. Didn't this Yan Qingqing just have an epiphany? Why did she have an epiphany again? Xiao Yanxiao was both jealous and resentful. She questioned, that's not right. Even if you had an epiphany, you shouldn't have appeared outside Bai Li. You must be lying. He Xingjiu cursed silently in her heart. How did this idiot suddenly become smart? Fortunately, she was already prepared. She said somewhat confusedly, I don't know about this. As everyone knows, when I had an epiphany, I knew nothing about the outside world. I had an epiphany in a bush. Who knows how I fell into this pit? At this moment, a lecturer pointed at the edge of the sinkhole and said, everyone look at this fault. It's all new soil. The edge of the pit is the same. Therefore, this sinkhole should have been formed from a new collapse. Previously, because the sound of thunder was too loud, we didn't hear the sound of a collapse. Presumably, the place where Yan Qingqing was originally collapsed, so it fell into this sinkhole. Chapter 58:41. Blowing up a wall, beating someone up. When everyone saw that it was true, they immediately felt that what the lecturer said was very reasonable. However, this Yan Qingqing was really lucky. She fell into a pit and was struck by lightning, but she was actually completely fine. It couldn't be said that she was fine. After all, her hair had been chopped off. Alright, this matter ends here. Let's leave this place as soon as possible to avoid any unnecessary complications, said the 1,000-year-old corpse turtle emperor insect with a cold face. Xiao Yanxiao could only keep quiet when she heard it. She was secretly resentful. Why didn't the heavenly lightning strike this Yan Qingqing to death? What a pity. Everyone immediately returned. After leaving the Baihang mountain range, Yun Chujiu received a voice transmission talisman from Di Baiming. He said that the academy had arranged for him and a few other people to go out for training and they would be back in a few days. Yun Chujiu did not mind. The two of them had gathered less and separated more. They were already used to this kind of day. She sent her spiritual sense into another voice transmission talisman. It was from Ding Wenru. Ding Wenru's angry and anxious voice came from the talisman. Qingqing, the talisman division is going too far. They took over a part of our courtyard and said that we only have 2 people. We don't need such a big courtyard at all. Yun Chujiu immediately narrowed her eyes and asked, Sister Ding, I just received your message. What's the situation now? After a while, she received Ding Wenru's message. We'll talk about it when you come back. It won't be clear in a few sentences. Yun Chujiu had obtained some information from this short sentence. It seemed that things were worse than she had imagined. She would talk about it when she went back. On this day, everyone finally arrived at the dock of the upper house. As soon as Yun Chujio entered the upper house, she felt some people pointing at her. She seemed to be gloating over her misfortune. Yun Chujio ignored them and went straight back to the prehistoric branch. As soon as she pushed open the door, her expression turned ugly. Although the original prehistoric branch could not be compared to the other branches, it was still very spacious. Now there was only a narrow strip left, and the new stone wall of the talisman seal branch on the right was particularly dazzling. Moreover, the original stone tables and stone stools in the courtyard had also disappeared. Some of the flowers and plants that she had planted had also turned into withered leaves and branches. Sister Ding, PM back. Yun Chujio shouted a few times before Ding Wenru limped out of the house. Yun Chujio saw that Ding Wenru's face had not fully recovered from the injury and that she was limping as she walked. Her face immediately darkened. Who hit you? Ding Wenru refused to say at first, but in the end Yun Chujio asked anxiously, who hit you? The talisman seal faculty sent some odd job workers to build the wall, so I naturally wanted to argue with them. But I was beaten up by some students of the talisman seal faculty, and the things in the yard were also smashed by them. The academy didn't show up? They just let you get beaten up for nothing? Yun Chujio's voice didn't have any fluctuations, but it was frighteningly cold. Ding Wenru sighed. Because the talisman seal faculty was involved in more people, the law didn't punish the masses. They just let them apologize to me and compensate me with some spirit stones. Although I was unwilling, I was alone and could only swallow this cowardice. Qingqing, forget it. There are only 2 people from our primal faculty. We won't be able to win against them. Moreover, my injuries have recovered. It's not a big deal. Forget it? My people are also people that they can touch. Who hit you? Can you still remember? Ding Wenru asked somewhat apprehensively. I can remember. But Qingqing, what are you going to do? Yun Chujio said coldly, blow up the wall and beat people up. Chapter 58-42, what do you need money for? Ding Wenru was shocked. Blow up the wall? Beat people up? Qingqing, don't be impulsive. There are only the 2 of us in the primal institution. If we really fight, we will only be at a disadvantage. Moreover, if you blow up the wall of the talisman institution, how could they let it go? Yun Chujio said coldly, then you will be bullied by them for nothing? You will be beaten up for nothing? Didn't they apologize and compensate you? Ding Wenru said weakly. She was naturally unwilling to accept it, but she couldn't do something like hitting a rock with an egg. Yun Chujio snorted coldly. Apologize? It must be very perfunctory, right? As for the compensation with me supporting you, what do you need money for? If apologizing and compensating can solve the problem, then I'll beat them up and apologize and compensate them as well. My money is enough to beat them up tens of thousands of times. Ding Wenru. Alright, she was indeed raised by Qingqing. Whether it was the donation fee or the money to buy the flag, she probably wouldn't be able to pay them back in her lifetime. Ding Wenru saw that Yun Chujio was determined to go head-to-head with Yun Chujio, and her heart surged with thousands of heroic feelings. At worst, she would just be expelled from school. What else could she do? Moreover, she also knew that Yun Chujio was doing it to vent her anger. If she still objected, then she would be too ungrateful. Alright, Qingqing, I'll listen to you. Should we blow up the wall first or beat people up first? Yun Chujio narrowed her eyes. If we blow up the wall, there will naturally be people who will be sent to get beaten up. Ding Wenru rubbed her hands. Qingqing, about that, I think we should tear down the wall. Because we didn't explode the jade talisman seal. Yun Chujio laughed lightly and took out a blank jade token from her storage ring. She picked up the carving knife that was used to carve jade talisman seals and said indifferently, it doesn't matter, just carve a few. It's just the lowest level explosive jade talisman seal anyway. Ding Wenru was dumbfounded. She felt that Yun Chujio was most likely crazy. Qingqing, are you too tired so you're not clear-headed? I don't even know how to carve a complete explosive jade talisman seal. Can you finish it? It's not that I'm arrogant, but at least I can understand most of it. But you can't understand it at all. How did you? Ding Wenru's words came to an abrupt end because she saw Yun Chujio's wrist flip and fly. Streaks of evenly distributed spiritual power patterns appeared on the jade token. Ding Wenru thug. After all, practice makes perfect, so it was not strange for her to engrave it like this. The hardest part of carving the jade talisman seal was the lower part. She reckoned that she would retreat soon. However, after 15 minutes, an extremely successful jade talisman seal appeared in front of her. Yun Chujio casually threw the jade talisman seal to Ding Wenru and began to carve the second one. Ding Wenru held the broken jade talisman seal in her hands. She was so shocked that she could not close her mouth. How was this possible? Not only did Qingqing successfully carve it, it was even a transcendent grade jade talisman? Didn't instructor Sima say that transcendent grade jade talismans were very rare and that even he could rarely carve a transcendent grade jade talisman? Why did Qingqing casually carve a transcendent grade exploding jade talisman? Ding Wenru thought about it again. This blind cat could have met a dead rat. Maybe Qingqing was just a coincidence. However, after 15 minutes, Ding Wenru saw the second jade talisman Yun Chujio handed to her. It was also a super-grade explosive jade talisman. She was completely dumbfounded. Chapter 58-43 Exploding Wall. Ding Wenru felt that her brain was a little lacking. Was what instructor Sima said a lie, or was Qingqing too perverted? Perhaps this was also a coincidence? Very quickly, she dispelled this thought because Yun Chujio handed her another 10 exploding jade talisman seals that were also supreme grade. It should be enough. Let's carve these first. Yun Chujio said as she kept the carving knife. Qingqing, when did you learn how to carve jade talismans? Why haven't I seen you practice before? Ding Wenru asked in surprise. It's just the lowest grade explosive jade talisman seal. Is there still a need to practice with this thing? Can't you just carve it a few times? Yun Chujio said indifferently. Ding Wenru. At this moment she felt the explosive blow from Brainiac. Why did she feel that the thing that was as difficult as ascending to the heavens was not worth mentioning in this pervert's mouth? At this moment she realized that she could no longer see through Yun Chujio's cultivation. That was not right. Previously, Qingqing was at the 7th level of the Divine Revelation realm, one level lower than her. Why couldn't she see through her cultivation after not seeing her for a few days? Qingqing, you broke through again? What cultivation level are you at now? And I accidentally had an epiphany in the 100 Pit Mountain range and did not break through much. Now, PM only at the 1st level of the Divine Summoning realm. I'm still too weak, Yun Chujio said as she curled her lips. Ding Wenru took another 10,000 critical hits. They were both the only two students of the prehistoric branch. Why was she so outstanding? While she was lamenting, Yun Chujio had already taken a super-grade explosive jade talisman from her hand. After activating it, she threw it at the stone wall of the talisman division. Boom. After a loud sound, the stone wall had been completely turned into powder. As it was the inner wall of the academy, the materials used were very ordinary, so it was so easily blown up by Hei Shinjo. Such a big commotion naturally attracted the attention of everyone. Soon, a group of students from the talisman script department ran over. When they saw the mess on the ground and Yun Chujio, they immediately understood what was going on. Yan Qingqing, Ding Wenru, the two of you actually dared to blow up the walls of our talisman seal faculty. Are you tired of living? A student from the talisman seal faculty said angrily. Qingqing, this person is called Jian Shenmu. He was the one who fanned the flames last time. Otherwise I wouldn't have been beaten up. Ding Wenru said hatefully to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio narrowed her eyes and looked at Jian Shenmu. This is the territory of our prehistoric faculty. What does it have to do with you if I tear down my own walls? If you have nothing better to do, then go out and run a few laps. Don't bark here. Jian Shenmu sneered. Yan Qingqing, you really have a big face. The wall of your primal division? What a joke. Your primal division only has you two useless students. How can you occupy such a large courtyard? If we hadn't been kind enough to leave a room for you, you would have become homeless dogs. They actually dared to blow up the strength of our talisman seal division. They're really tired of living. The people behind Jian Shenmu also jeered. That's right. They think they're so great just because they've clung onto Beiye's thigh. They're really overestimating themselves. That's right. If it were up to me, there's no need for this primal division to exist. These two good-for-nothings shouldn't stay in the upper academy either. Looks like we were too lenient last time. This Ding Wenru has no memory at all. She really deserves a beating. Chapter 58-44, Beating People Up. Ding Wenru heard the discussions of those people and was so angry that her face turned ashen. Qingqing, these people were all involved in what happened before. None of them are good. Yun Chujio did not say anything. She merely curled the corners of her lips and took out a few exploding jade talismans and threw them into the crowd opposite her. Boom. Boom. My face. My leg. It hurts so much. Help. The sound of the explosion was mixed with a scream, which made people's hair stand on end. Those students never dreamed that Yun Chujio would suddenly throw out so many jade talismans. Caught off guard, they were seriously injured. Ding Wenru was scared silly. What happened to beating people up? How did this turn into an explosion? Qingqing was too ruthless. If she really blew people up, what would happen? She looked at them in fear, and only then did she relax. Although those people were severely injured and were lying on the ground wailing, they didn't seem to be in danger. However, it was also true. The explosive Jade Talisman Seal was the lowest grade Jade Talisman Seal. Even the power of a transcendent grade Talisman Seal was limited. If it wasn't for the fact that these people were completely unprepared, they probably wouldn't have been able to injure them, much less seriously injure them. Just as Ding Wenru was thinking about it, Yun Chujio coldly said, "What are you standing there for? Aren't you going to take revenge? Return 10 kicks to the person who kicked you, and 100 punches to the person who punched you. Let them know that we, the people from the primeval institution, are not easy to bully." Ding Wenru naturally would not be polite. After all, the matter had already come to this point. If she still endured it, then she would be a bastard. She immediately walked up to Jian Qinmu and raised her fist. Jian Qinmu gritted his teeth and roared, "Ding Wenru, if you dare to make a move again, I swear I won't forgive you. I want you to get out of the 10 Directions Academy." Ding Wenru snorted coldly and punched his face, instantly turning his face into a pig's head. Then with 2 cracking sounds she broke his ankles. Jian Qinmu was in so much pain that it was like killing a pig. Ding Wenru, Yan Qingqing, I won't let you off." His words came to an abrupt stop because Yun Chujio said faintly from the side, "Sister Ding, he's really too noisy. Why don't we cut off his tongue?" Jian Qinmu was filled with hatred and fear. If his ankle was broken, he could still reattach it. But if his tongue was cut off, then he would really become a mute. Seeing that Jian Qinmu had suffered a loss, the others did not dare to talk nonsense. Some tactful people began to admit defeat. "Student Yen, Student Ding, this is all a misunderstanding. We made a big mistake because we were deceived by Jian Qinmu. Yes, we are all classmates in the academy. It's better if we don't make a big deal out of it. It's just a wall. Since you've already blown it up, let us go." "Yes, Ding, I didn't do anything last time. I was just watching the show." In fact, these students from the Talisman Division also had a lot of jade talismans, but they had some misgivings. Although they didn't receive any punishment for beating Ding Wenru last time, if they used talismans in a fight, that would be against the rules of the academy. It was not easy for them to get into the upper house. If they were expelled because of this, wouldn't they regret it for the rest of their lives? They secretly calculated in their hearts that a wise man would not be at a disadvantage in front of his eyes. They would first admit defeat and get past this hurdle and then complain about it. Ding Wenru and Yan Qingqing, these 2 bitches, would definitely be expelled. When that time came, they could do whatever they wanted to them. When that time came, they would definitely make their lives worse than death. Yun Chujio was very shrewd. How could she not know what these people were thinking? If they wanted to sue someone who could beat her. Chapter 58-45. A tooth for a tooth. Hearing the words of the students, Yun Chujio curled her lips. "I always seek revenge for the smallest grievance. You have touched my things and my people, so you should be prepared for revenge. As for any apology or compensation, I don't care. I just want a tooth for a tooth and a violent one for a violent one." Hearing this, Ding Wenru became even more enthusiastic. She kicked and clapped, and then she took out a stick and gave a fierce beating. In order to be a good student, troublemaker, Yun Chujio had already understood the rules of the Academy of 10 Directions clearly. If there was a fight between the students of the upper academy, they would not be severely punished without the use of spiritual beasts and jade talisman seals. If they used spiritual beasts and jade talisman seals, they might be expelled if the consequences were serious. Therefore, she was sure that Jian Qinmu and the others would not dare to use the spirit beast and jade talisman. That was why they were so arrogant. Those people were crying like ghosts and howling like wolves. They were so angry that they gritted their teeth and cursed in their hearts. Why did no one come to help when such a big thing had happened here? Were the other people in the Talisman Division all dead? Needless to say, they did not know whether it was because their resentment was too strong or because the explosion just now was too loud. A large group of people ran over. "Stop." A clear female voice came from afar. Yun Chujio looked up and saw a woman in a white dress at the front of the crowd. The woman was beautiful. Although her footsteps were very fast, it did not affect her graceful posture at all. The woman soon arrived in front of Yun Chujio. She glanced at the messy crowd on the ground and slightly frowned. She signaled the people behind her to help Jian Shenmu and the others up. Jian Shenmu shouted, "Jiu, you came at the right time. Not only did these two bastards blow up the wall, but they also used jade talisman seals to blow us up. They are really audacious." Jiu? Yun Chujia's heart moved. Could she be the Jian Zhuyu that little grasshopper was talking about? Was she also one of the admirers of the gigolo? Although the woman frowned, she still nodded slightly to Yun Chujio and Ding Wenru. "Are you Yan Qingqing and Ding Wenru from the Primeval Institution?" Ding Wenru had always followed He Xinjia's lead, so she did not say anything. Yun Chujio said indifferently, "That's right. May I know your name?" Immediately, a student from the Talisman Seal Institution shouted, "TSK, don't tell me you don't even know Jian Zhuyu? Flying Snow Lian Xiao, Flowing Cloud Zhuyu, she is one of the 4 fairies." Not only is Jian Zhuyu beautiful and has a good family background, she is also one of the most outstanding students in our Talisman Seal Institution. Most importantly, she has a gentle personality and is very approachable. Compared to Jian Zhuyu, this Yan Qingqing is like a dog's tail grass by the roadside and a beautiful peony. The difference is like the difference between the clouds and the mud. I wonder why Beiyu has taken a fancy to this Yan Jianziyu's expression did not change when she heard the discussion of the crowd. Instead, she said gently and politely, "I am Jian Zhuyu from the Talisman Seal College. I have left the academy for a period of time. It is normal that you do not know me." Yun Chujio raised her chin. "Even if you're in the academy, it's normal that I don't know you. After all, PM not someone that everyone has to know." Jian Ziyu's expression immediately turned ugly. This Yan Qingqing was really hateful. She actually compared her to a cat or a dog. However, she still suppressed the anger in her heart and said, "It doesn't matter if you know me or not. But why did you blow up the wall of our Talisman Seal division? And why did you beat up Jian Shenmu and the others?" Chapter 58-46 Hearing Jian Ziyu's words, Yun Chujio sneered, "The wall of your Talisman Script Academy? It's so funny these days. The dove who occupies the magpie's nest still has the face to turn black into white. Your Talisman Script Academy shamelessly occupies many of our Primal Academy's courtyards. I didn't intend to argue with you. I didn't expect that the human heart is insatiable and the snake will swallow the elephant. They even want to occupy the last bit of our territory. It really refreshed my understanding of the word shameless. As for why they were beaten up, the reason was very simple. They deserved a beating. If they were not in the 10 Directions Academy, I would have sent them on their way long ago. Whether it was Jian Zhuyu or the others, they were all stunned. They had never thought that Yan Qingqing would be so arrogant. Was she ignorant and fearless? Jian Ziyu's expression was slightly cold. "Yan Qingqing, you can't speak nonsense. When did our Talisman Seal branch take over the place of your prehistoric branch? Your prehistoric branch is only so big in the first place. As for the wall that was built a few days ago, it was also approved by the Academy. It was to use the Academy's resources more rationally so as not to waste it. How about this? Since you're a new student, you apologize to Jian Shenmu and the others and pay for the wall to be rebuilt." Il convinced Jian Shenmu and the others not to report this matter to the Academy. When the people behind her heard Jian Ziyu's words, they all showed a look of approval. "Look at Jian Zhuyu. This is the demeanor of everyone. It's really admirable." "That's right. Jian Ziyu's words are reasonable. It's not like that Yan Qingqing's nonsense. Our Talisman Seal faculty has occupied the territory of their primeval subfaculty. We're really not afraid of the wind blowing our tongues. Who doesn't know that the primeval subfaculty hasn't recruited people for 800 years? What territory does it still have? If Yan Qingqing knows what's good for her, then quickly get off the donkey. Otherwise she'll be expelled." At this moment, Yun Chujio smiled lightly. "They deserve to be beaten up. Why should I apologize? Should I rebuild the wall? Of course the wall should be built, but not here. It should be built on the east side of your Talisman Seal Division's teaching hall, because from there to here, it's the territory of our Primal Division. Your Talisman Seal Division has occupied the magpie's nest for so many years. It's time to return it." When everyone heard her words, they immediately started cursing again. It was nothing more than saying that Yun Chujio was spouting nonsense and did not know what was good for her. Jian Zhuyu sighed. "Yan Qingqing, since you insist on, I can only report this matter to the higher-ups." Yun Chujio glanced at her. "Jian Zhuyu, let me give you a suggestion. Since you have created a gentle and magnanimous persona for yourself, then you should act completely. Otherwise it would be too unprofessional. You instigated Jian Shenmu to come over to provoke me, and then you came over to be a good person. Don't you think it's a little unsightly to eat? Don't you just want to create an incident and use it as an opportunity to deal with me? Then you'll find a reason to get the academy to expel me, and then send people to kill me, right? In this regard, you're inferior to that Xiao Yanxiao. At least she's brazenly evil, unlike you who became a female cousin and still set up a memorial archway. Jian Ziyu's face immediately flushed red, and her voice trembled a little. Yan Qingqing, you're really going too far. I don't understand what you're saying, but you demolished the wall first and hit people later. They'll see you in the discipline department. The corners of Yun Chujia's mouth curled up. Whatever. Chapter 58-47. This wall had also exploded. Yun Chujio looked at Jian Ziyu's furious back and shrugged. She was the nemesis of the White Lotus. To play such a small trick in front of her was simply hilarious. Ding Wenru was dumbstruck. After a long while she said, Qingqing, you said that Jian Zhiyu was the one who made all this up to deal with you? Most likely. This kind of White Lotus likes this kind of trick the most. There's nothing new about it, and she still has the nerve to come out and embarrass herself. However, it's also good that she made this up. Let's also take back the territory and things of the primal institution. Some people are really asking to be beaten up for taking other people's things and showing off in front of the original owner. Ding Wenru said weakly, can we really get it back? I think we should think of a way to deal with the current crisis first, right? Jian Zhuyu and the others have already gone to complain. The discipline department will probably come and arrest us soon. Yun Chujio waved her hand. There's no rush. Let me blow up the wall of the alchemy division first. Ding Wenru was about to cry. It was already difficult enough to offend the Talisman Seal division, but she actually had to offend the alchemy division? In the future, would there still be room for the two of them in the 10 Directions Academy? Yun Chujio did as she said. With a super-grade explosive jade talisman seal, the wall of the alchemy division also turned into powder. This time, the alchemy division that was originally watching the show could not do it anymore. However, due to He Xinjia's valiance, they did not directly come over to negotiate. Instead, they went to the discipline department to complain. Although the upper house had 6 major divisions, there was only one discipline department. It had always been known for being impartial and impartial. The students of the upper house were most afraid of being called over by the discipline department for questioning. Therefore, the upper house had always been very calm. Although Director Xia Ho of the discipline department was only in charge of the discipline department, his prestige was on par with the chancellors of the 6 major branches. No one dared to underestimate him. He usually didn't interfere in small matters and spent most of his time cultivating. Today was no exception. While he was cultivating in his room, Manager Yu of the discipline department hurried over to report. Director Xia Ho, something has happened. Yan Qingqing and Ding Wenru from the Primal Division blew up the walls of the Talisman Division and the Alchemy Division, and even severely injured a dozen students from the Talisman Division. Director Xia Ho. The students from the upper division had always followed the rules and regulations, but the 2 students from the Primal Division dared to be so arrogant. Was this a rebellion? Director Xia Ho's face immediately darkened. Bring the 2 of them to the discipline department immediately. I want to personally interrogate them on this matter. At this time, there were already quite a number of students gathered outside the law enforcement hall, especially the students of the Talisman and Alchemy Division. They were simply filled with righteous indignation. If it wasn't for the Academy's rules, they would probably have directly beaten up Yan Qingqing and Ding Wenru. Xiao Yanxiao also rushed over when she heard the news. The first thing she saw was Jian Zhuyu in front of the crowd. She gritted her teeth. Jian Zhuyu, this bitch, had returned before she could deal with Yan Qingqing. How hateful. Jian Zhuyu nodded politely when she saw her. Sister Lianxiao, I haven't seen you for a long time. You're becoming more and more attractive. Xiao Yanxiao snorted. Stop your hypocritical act. We both have feelings for Beiyu. Why are you acting in front of me? Jian Zhuyu was not angry. She lowered her voice and said, the common enemy between us is Yan Qingqing. Why don't we work together to drive her out of the academy? As for the Northern Yu, we can rely on our own abilities. Chapter 58-48. Who is the plaintiff? Although Xiao Yanxiao did not want to deal with Jian Zhuyu, she felt that her suggestion was not bad. This was a good opportunity to drive Yan Qingqing out of the academy. As long as the 2 of them worked together, they would not have to worry about not succeeding. It just so happened that Beiyu was not in the academy right now. It was not bad to take care of Yan Qingqing. So she nodded. What do you want to do? There's no need to specially prepare anything. Anyway, that Yan Qingqing has already violated the Academy's rules and caused public anger. You just need to cooperate with me when the time comes, Jian Zhuyu said softly. Xiao Yinxiao snorted coldly. Okay, I got it. She had always disliked Jian Zhuyu. Although both of them were equally famous because Jian Zhuyu knew how to act, his reputation was much better than hers. At this time, Director Xiaohou arrived. He looked at the surrounding students, especially Jian Qinmu and the others who were covered in blood, and his expression became more and more unsightly. Jian Zhuyu saw the situation and sneered in his heart. She was not that idiot Xiao Yanxiao. She only needed to use a few tricks to get rid of that Yan Qingqing. At that time she would just let Xiao Yanxiao take the blame. Since Yun Chujio and Ding Wenru had not arrived yet, Director Xiaohou could not interrogate them. He frowned. Why hadn't he brought them here yet? Could it be that those two students still dared to put up a stubborn resistance? Just as he was thinking about it, the crowd behind him started shouting one after another. Yan Qingqing, Ding Wenru, you guys still have the face to come over. You guys are simply the scum of the 10 Directions Academy. Yan Qingqing, get out of the upper house. Get out of the 10 Directions Academy. Ding Wenru, get out of the upper house. Get out of the 10 Directions Academy. Director Xiaohou frowned and let out a loud cough that was filled with pressure. The scene immediately quieted down. A few guards of the discipline department then escorted Yun Chujio and Ding Wenru through the crowd and walked over. Ding Wenru's face was full of anxiety and her heart was beating very fast. She reckoned that they would definitely be expelled this time. After all, the matter had been blown up so much that even if Qingqing had a belly full of evil water, it would be useless. He Xinjiu, however, looked as if she did not care at all. She even had the leisure to size up Director Xiaohou a few times. Seeing that everyone had arrived, Director Xiaohou slapped the table and said, "Plaintiff, tell us what exactly happened." Jian Zhuyu immediately took 2 steps forward. Just as she was about to speak, she heard a shrill female voice, "Director Xiaohou, you have to help us make a decision. It's a pity that our primal institution only has 2 weak women. We're going to be bullied to death. If it weren't for our strong will, we would probably be so depressed that we want to hang ourselves. I've always heard that you, Director Xiaohou, are the most fair and just. I believe that you will definitely deal with it impartially and give us justice." Jian Zhuyu. Everyone. This Yan Qingqing was too shameless. Are you the plaintiff or the defendant? Don't you know what's going on? Director Xiaohou was also a little confused, but his expression did not change. He said in a deep voice, "Get to the point. What exactly happened?" Director Xiaohou, Fuzhuan branch has occupied the place of our prehistoric branch. That's not all. They even severely injured Ding Wenru and destroyed the valuable property of our prehistoric branch, Yun Chujio said with grief and indignation. Jian Zhuyu couldn't take it anymore. Director Xiaohou, Yan Qingqing is spouting nonsense. Yun Chujio raised her voice and shouted, "Shut up. Shut up. Did Director Xiaohou let you speak? Do you know the rules? Moreover, it's the plaintiff's time to speak. Why would a defendant like you interrupt? Get lost." Chapter 58-49? Jian Zhuyu was so angry that she was dumbfounded. The onlookers also started to clamor, "Yan Qingqing, are you shameless? You are obviously the defendant. Exactly, you blew up the walls of the Talisman and Alchemy branch and even beat up people. How dare you call yourself the plaintiff?" Director Xiaohou, don't listen to her nonsense. Our Talisman and Alchemy branch did not occupy the territory of their primeval branch. That's right. This Yan Qingqing is also shameless. Who doesn't know that the prehistoric faculty is just a small and shabby yard? Who would want to occupy it? Director Xiaohou slammed the table, and only then did everyone quieten down. Yan Qingqing, do you have any evidence to prove that the Talisman Seal faculty occupied the territory of your prehistoric faculty? Yun Chujio straightened her back and pointed at Ding Wenru who was beside her. Just 5 days ago, Jian Qinmu and the others from the Talisman Seal faculty openly built a stone wall in our prehistoric faculty and occupied more than half of our territory. When Ding Wenru tried to stop them, she was severely injured by them. At that time, this matter was also handled by the discipline department, and the result was very laughable. They only asked Jian Qinmu and the others to apologize and compensate Ding Wenru, but they turned that wall into a reasonable and legal existence. Director Xiaohou, I believe that you definitely didn't know about this matter. Otherwise, wouldn't the discipline department become a joke? Yun Chujio had already asked Ding Wenru before. At that time, the person who dealt with her matter was Manager Luo of the Discipline Department, not Director Xiaoho. She also knew that Director Xiaoho was the most impartial, so she dared to expose his shortcomings in public. Sure enough, when Director Xiaoho heard this, his expression immediately darkened. He looked at Manager Luo who stood beside Manager Yu and asked, "Manager Luo, is what Yan Qingqing said true?" A trace of panic flashed across Manager Luo's face, but it disappeared in an instant. She hurriedly said, "Director Xiaoho, this matter was indeed handled by me." Although Jian Chenmu and the others had a conflict with Ding Wenru, they did not use the spirit beast or the jade talisman seal. Moreover, Ding Wenru's injuries were not too serious. In addition, Jian Chenmu and the others sincerely regretted their actions, so I let both sides reconcile. At that time, Ding Wenru also agreed, so I let both sides reconcile. Manager Luo's words could be said to be watertight, and everything seemed to be reasonable. Yun Chujio sneered, "Manager Luo, even if your treatment is appropriate, shouldn't you have the Fuzhu? However, you didn't. Instead, you made that stone wall a reasonable and lawful existence. You are clearly favoring yourself for personal gain and bending the law. Who knows, you might have even received something that you shouldn't have." Manager Luo immediately flew into a rage out of humiliation. "Bastard! You actually dare to slander your teacher face to face. You are simply lawless. Director Xiaoho, you must not keep a student like her. Sooner or later she will become a scourge. No, she is a scourge now. You actually blew up the walls of the talisman and alchemy divisions. You even beat up your classmates. This is simply a heinous crime." Yun Chujio glanced at him and said with a cold gaze, "Let me ask you, why didn't you tear down the wall? Since it was built against the rules, why didn't you tear it down?" Manager Luo felt a little guilty under her cold gaze and said with a stern look but a weak heart, "Your primal division only has 2 students, so you can't use such a big courtyard at all. Why don't you let the Talisman Seal division use it for the time being so it can be considered as making the best use of everything?" Hearing that, Yun Chujio laughed sarcastically, "What a set of robber logic. Whether I need such a big place or not, what does it have to do with you? What right do you have to award the place of our prehistoric branch to the Talisman Seal branch? Director Xiaoho, I believe that with your wisdom, I don't need to say much to understand the twists and turns in this, right?" Chapter 5850, I apologize, I compensate. Director Xiaoho's eyes did not rub the sand. He immediately understood a bit. He glanced at Manager Luo who forced herself to be calm, and then said to Yun Chujio, "This matter was indeed handled improperly by our discipline department. That stone wall should have been demolished. However, even so, you should not have injured the students of the Talisman Seal faculty. What do you have to say about this?" Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. "I was indeed the one who hit her. I apologize, I'll compensate you. Didn't Manager Luo treat Ding Wenru like this before? I followed suit." Director Xiaoho. At this moment, under Jian Ziyu's hint, Xiao Lianxiao said loudly, "Director Xiaoho, not only did Yan Qingqing blow up the wall of the Talisman Division, she also blew up the wall of our Alchemy Division. The wall of our Alchemy faculty is not built illegally. Please give us justice." Director Xiaoho nodded. "Yan Qingqing, what do you have to say about?" Yun Chujio straightened her back and said seriously, "Director Xiaoho, since things have come to this, I'm going to throw caution to the wind. I want to sue the Alchemy faculty and the Talisman Seal faculty for forcibly occupying the territory of the Primal faculty and demand that they return it to its owner. Originally, the area of our Primeval faculty was about the same as their 2 faculties, but now there is only a small courtyard left. A large area and houses have been occupied by their 2 faculties. I know that my words are light, and in doing so, I have offended the people of the 2 faculties. But as the only 2 students of the Primeval faculty, I naturally have to protect the rights and interests of the Primeval faculty. I hope that Director Xiaoho will stand up for us." Xiao Lianxiao sneered, "Yan Qingqing, you really can spout nonsense. Our Alchemy Division has occupied the territory of your Primal Division? What kind of joke is this? Who doesn't know that your Primal Division has long declined, and is only left with a broken courtyard?" Jian Zhiyu chimed in from the side, "Sister Lianxiao is right. If you say that the wall from before occupied your territory, it makes sense. As for saying that our 2 academies took up a large area of your Primal Institution's territory, that's simply nonsense." Those students who were watching the show also sneered and ridiculed. "Yan Qingqing, are you crazy? Ever since I entered the institution, the Primal Institution only has so little space, how could it be taken up? That's right, our alchemy institution rarely takes up that fart-sized area of yours? Why didn't you say that the upper house is the territory of your primal division? How shameless. Director Xiaohou was just about to reprimand Yun Chujio when he suddenly thought of something and his expression became a little complicated. This Yan Qingqing really wasn't spouting nonsense. The Talisman Seal Division and Alchemy Division indeed occupied the territory of the Primal Division. However, almost 1,000 years had passed and the prehistoric faculty had declined again. Hence, no one mentioned this matter anymore. They treated it as if those places belonged to the Alchemy faculty and the Talisman faculty. He was upright and disdained to lie. However, if this matter were to be exposed, how would they end up? To have the Alchemy faculty and the Talisman faculty return the place to the prehistoric faculty. Wouldn't everything be in chaos then? If they didn't return it, it wouldn't make sense. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that this matter was difficult to handle. He glared fiercely at Manager Luo. If he had handled it fairly last time, this matter wouldn't have happened. Director Xiaohou thought about it and finally thought of a way to shift the blame. He immediately sent a message to President Gu and the 6 chancellors. As for the final decision of the matter, it was up to them. Chapter 58-51 was difficult to deal with. A moment later, President Gu and all the chancellors from the 6 branches had arrived. The 6 chancellors, especially Director Ren from the Alchemy branch and Director Zhao from the Talisman Seal branch, had a particularly ugly expression on their faces. The 2 of them were complaining in their hearts that Director Xiaohou was meddlesome. It was just a small Yan Qingqing. It would have been fine if she had found a reason to deceive them about this matter, but she had actually called them over. Why did she call them over? Could it be that she wanted them to return their territory to the prehistoric branch? What kind of joke was this? There were only 2 good-for-nothings in the prehistoric branch. How could they occupy so much territory? The other 4 chancellors were also a little worried. Although their 4 branches did not directly occupy the territory of the prehistoric branch, they had also occupied a lot of good things. If they were to settle the score, they would probably be skinned alive. Therefore, although the 6 chancellors did not say anything, they had reached a consensus in their hearts. Want territory? Want something? No way. President Gus' head was buzzing. It was not during his term that the 6 branches had taken points from the prehistoric branch, so he turned a blind eye to it. In any case, the 2 people at the back of the mountain would not come to the front at all. It was a pity that the prehistoric branch was abandoned. If the 6 branches occupied it, so be it. However, who would have thought that by a fluke, the Primal Chaos branch had recruited 2 useless students this year, and that Yan Qingqing was a troublemaker. She actually brought up this matter. It was really too difficult to handle. However, how did she find out? Everyone had their own thoughts, but more or less, they all felt that this Yan Qingqing was too nosy and was really not likable. Therefore, when everyone arrived, they all shot a glance at Yun Chujio at the same time. Jian Zhuyu and the others saw the situation and couldn't help but gloat in their hearts. It seemed that this Yan Qingqing was going to be unlucky and very unlucky. A student said noisily, "President Gu, this Yan Qingqing is spouting nonsense. She actually said that the Primeval Academy was originally the same size as the Alchemy Division. She even said that the Alchemy Division and the Talisman Division had occupied the Primeval Academy's territory. She's most likely crazy." That's right. This Yan Qingqing is boasting shamelessly and spreading rumors. She should be expelled from the 10 Directions Academy. That's right. Yan Qingqing Ding Wenru, get out of the Upper Academy. Get out of the 10 Directions Academy. Jian Ziyu's thoughts were deep. Seeing that Director Xiaohou didn't say anything just now, she guessed that what Yun Chujio said might be the truth, so she incited Xiao Lianxiao to speak. Xiao Lianxiao didn't know that there were twists and turns. She immediately said to Director Ren of the Alchemy Division, "Chancellor, this Yan Qingqing is boasting shamelessly that our Alchemy Division has occupied the territory of the Prehistoric Division. It's simply nonsense. It's good that you're here. Do you think she's talking nonsense?" Chancellor Ren and Xiao Lianxiao's grandfather had a good relationship. He usually took care of Xiao Lianxiao, but at this time he was quite angry with Xiao Lianxiao. It was really stupid to the extreme. It was like mentioning the pot in the pot. Chancellor Ren ignored Xiao Lianxiao and left her on the spot. Xiao Lianxiao still had some brains. Seeing the situation, she immediately knew that she had been played by Jian Zhuyu. She glared at Jian Zhuyu fiercely, wishing that she could strangle her to death. But under the watchful eyes of everyone, she couldn't do anything. She could only keep quiet with a flushed face. As the person in charge of the 10 Directions Academy, President Gu had no choice but to step forward at this moment. His tone was a little stiff as he said, Yan Qingqing did not lie. The alchemy faculty and the talisman faculty have indeed occupied the place of the primeval faculty. However, it has been a long time since the incident and few people know about it. Chapter 58-52 ended here. As soon as President Gus' words left his mouth, the students who had been making a ruckus earlier were instantly dumbfounded. What Yan Qingqing said was actually true. The Alchemy Division and the Talisman Seal Division had actually occupied the territory of the Prehistoric Division. Director Ren of the Alchemy Division and Director Zhao of the Talisman Seal Division looked a little embarrassed, but when he thought about how the other divisions had also gotten a piece of the PIE, he felt a little more natural. President Gu glanced at the other chancellors and asked, "What do you think about this?" Normally, such a big event should be discussed behind closed doors. However, since things had come to this point, they could only bring it to the surface. Director Ren of the Alchemy Division was the first to say, "The Alchemy Division has indeed occupied a part of the Prehistoric Division's courtyard. However, this matter has already happened for nearly 1,000 years. Since it has already become an established fact, there is no need to change it." Dean Zhao of the Talisman Division echoed, "That's right. Based on the principle of making the best use of everything, it is more advantageous for the Academy to maintain the current situation. What's more, the Primal Chaos Division only has 2 students now. Their qualifications might not necessarily be able to pass the exam. When that time comes, the Primal Chaos Division will become a mere decoration. Why go through so much trouble?" Dean Zhao's words make sense. Be it the 6 major divisions or the Primal Chaos Division, they are all assets of the upper house. As long as they are used reasonably, there is no need to divide them so clearly. Dean Sun of the Array Division stroked his Shan Yanghu and said, "President Li of the Beast Master Branch, President Zhou of the Spirit Power Branch, and President Wu of the Weapon Refining Branch all expressed their views. Basically, they were saying the same thing as President Zhao and the others, that they had already occupied them, then, it would be better to maintain the current situation." Yun Chujio sneered in her heart. These old things are even more shameless than her. Isn't this the same as borrowing things? Although President Gu was the president, it wasn't appropriate for him to say anything. Seeing that President Zhao and the others had the same opinion, he could only say to Yun Chujio, "Yan Qingqing, you've heard it too. Maintaining the current situation is the best way. So, you shouldn't keep harping on this matter in the future." When President Gu said this, his expression was somewhat uncomfortable. After all, he still wanted his face. But for the sake of the overall situation, he couldn't offend the 6 chancellors just because of Yan Qingqing, causing chaos in the upper house. Yun Chujio let out a long sigh. "Since you say so, President, I can't say anything. It's just that this territory has been occupied for so long, and the things have also been used for so long. Shouldn't we give our prehistoric branch some rent?" The 6 chancellors could not believe their ears. This Yan Qingqing actually wanted to ask for rent from them? She was asking for money but not her life. Wasn't she afraid that if she angered them, she would not be able to survive in the upper house? President Gu was also speechless. This Yan Qingqing was really daydreaming. She was just a student of the Primal Institution, and she might not be one for long. Where did she get the courage to ask for rent? President Gus' face darkened. Ridiculous. How is this possible? Let's call it a day and call it a day. Ding Wenru saw that President Gus' face was very ugly. The other chancellors also had gloomy faces. They quickly dragged He Xingjiu away, afraid that she would do something reckless. He Xingjiu did not resist and left with Ding Wenru. Jian Qinmu and the others who were beaten up were dumbfounded. So they had been beaten up for nothing? President Gu had said that this matter would end here, so there was definitely no one to stand up for them. Chapter 58-53. Trix. Seeing that Yun Chujio had left obediently, President Gus' expression eased up a little. This Yan Qingqing was quite tactful. If the matter was blown up, there would definitely be no benefits for her. President Gu could not help but feel a little fortunate. Fortunately, the 2 people at the back of the mountain were in closed-door cultivation. Otherwise, if they knew that they had taken in such a troublemaker, they would definitely not spare him. Just now, he saw that her and Ding Wenru's cultivation had improved a lot. Even so, in the upper house, which was full of talented people, they were still trash. President Gu exchanged a few more pleasantries with the other chancellors before returning to his own courtyard. A few days later, on this morning, President Gu was in the study dealing with official business when President Zhao and the others came in a rage. President? That Yan Qingqing is too outrageous. She must be expelled. Yes, such a mischievous student shouldn't stay in the academy. She's simply a scourge. That makes sense. Yan Qingqing and that Ding Wenru must be expelled. President Gu was confused and asked in puzzlement, "What happened?" President Ren of the Alchemy Division said angrily, "Yan Qingqing hung all of the prehistoric division all over our alchemy division. Even the trunk of the tree had the words all of the prehistoric division written all over it. The most infuriating thing is that I don't know how she did it. She even wrote see all of the prehistoric division on my wall. It's even written in bloody red. It's the same for our talisman seal branch. There are signs of all of the prehistoric branch everywhere, and there are even a bunch of ants on the ground forming the words see all of the prehistoric branch. The students have been made to have no interest in learning. This is really outrageous." President Zhao of the talisman seal branch also said angrily. The corner of President Gus's eyes twitched violently, and he looked at the other presidents. "What's the matter?" President Sun of the array division said angrily, "Yan Qingqing didn't hang a sign in our division, but she always hangs a sign that says, borrow something and don't return it to the bastard. She is really hateful." President Wu of the Beastmaster Division and President Zhou of the Spirit Power Division nodded repeatedly. Apparently, Yan Qingqing also went to the Beastmaster Division and the Spirit Power Division to hang a sign on the street. President Gu was both angry and amused at the same time. He said, "Why are you guys so angry? Just let her do whatever she wants. After a few days she will be tired and won't do anything anymore. After all, we are in the wrong. She didn't violate the rules of the school, so it's not easy for me to deal with her." President Zhao and the others looked depressed. That Yan Qingqing didn't belong to any of their schools, so there was no way to deal with her directly. They went to find Director Xiaoho of the Discipline Department to report her, but they didn't expect that Director Xiaoho would say that Yan Qingqing didn't violate the rules of the academy and that he wasn't easy to deal with. That was why they came to find President Gu. They didn't expect that President Gu would say the same thing. It was so infuriating. President Zhao said angrily, "President, are we just going to let her jump up and down? You don't know, but that's not all. I heard that she is preparing a ceremony in the Primeval Sub-Academy to expiate the ancestors of the Primeval Sub-Academy." Clang. Before President Zhao could finish his words, the teacup in President Gus's hand fell to the ground and shattered. What did you say? What is she going to do?" President Zhao didn't expect President Gu to have such a big reaction. He mumbled, "She's going to ferry the ancestors of the Primal Chaos branch." What's wrong with that?" President Gu was so angry that he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. What was wrong? If the two people at the back of the mountain knew that they were being crossed over as dead people, they would probably strangle him to death. Chapter 58-54. The role model of a good student. President Gu slammed the table. "Nonsense. This Yan Qingqing is really being ridiculous. Men, bring Yan Qingqing and Ding Wenru over here." President Zhao and the others looked at each other. They didn't see how angry the president was when he mentioned those things. Why did the president have such a big reaction when he mentioned that Yan Qingqing was going to perform a ritual? Among the 10 Directions Academy, only President Gu knew about the existence of the two elders at the back of the mountain. Therefore, President Zhao and the others were really confused. At this moment, in the Primeval Sub-Academy, He Xinjiu was commanding a few servants to arrange the things needed for the ritual. Ding Wenru said with a worried look, "Qingqing, have we gone too far in the past few days?" The two of them had become like rats crossing the street. If it weren't for the strict regulations of the upper house, they would have been beaten up by the crowd. Yun Chujio glanced at her. "Do you think that if we hadn't caused such a ruckus, those people would find us pleasing to the eye? As long as we were still in the upper house, they would remember where they lived. The things they used belonged to our prehistoric branch. They wished they could get rid of the two of us as an eyesore. Since that's the case, let's blow up the matter and still have a chance of survival." Ding Wenru was stunned. She thought about it carefully and felt that what Yun Chujio said made sense. However, could they really have a chance of survival? She was afraid that they would be expelled. At this moment, a guard came over. "Yan Qingqing, Ding Wenru, the principal has summoned you. Come with us." Ding Wenru's expression changed. She knew it was the end of the line. Yun Chujio looked indifferent and said to the servants, "Do your job. If you do a good job, the reward will not be small." The servants were paid to do their job, so they naturally agreed. Soon, Yun Chujio and Ding Wenru were brought in front of President Gu and the other chancellors. "Hello, President, hello, chancellors." He Xinjiu greeted them with a smile. Ding Wenru was already drenched in cold sweat from the pressure from President Gu and the other chancellors. It was difficult for her to even stand up, let alone salute them. A hint of surprise flashed in President Gu's eyes. Yan Qingqing was not afraid of their pressure? However, in his rage he did not have time to think about it. He slapped the desk and said, "Yan Qingqing, you are too ridiculous." Ding Wenru was so shocked that she collapsed to the ground. He Xinjiu blinked her eyes and asked innocently, "Why did you say that? President, where did you get this idea from?" "I have been following the rules for the past few days and did not break any of the rules. I am simply the model of a good student. Where is the troublemaker?" President Gu and the 6 chancellors were almost angered by this guy's shamelessness. Well behaved? The model of a good student? To think that she had the nerve to say it out loud, she was simply shameless. You are not fooling around? What's with the sign of the alchemy division and the talisman division? You go to the beast taming division, the array division, the spirit energy division, and the artifact refining division to parade all day long. How does that count? Also, you actually want to hold some ceremony? This is simply fooling around. President Gu said angrily. Yun Chujia's expression became even more innocent. Is there a problem with the sign of the alchemy division and the talisman seal division? The place where I set up the sign is indeed the territory of our primal division. As for my sign, I didn't mention the few chancellors present. I was just reminding myself not to do such a shameless thing. Sai, I also had no choice but to hold the ceremony. Sister Ding and I are like orphans that no one wants. We were bullied by our neighbors. What can we do? We could only cry on the graves of our ancestors. Besides, as the only 2 students of the prehistoric institution, isn't it normal for us to pay tribute to the ancestors of the prehistoric institution? Chapter 58-55. I will immediately turn over a new leaf. The 6 chancellors' faces alternated between red and white. It was obvious that they were angered by Yun Chujia's scolding. Ding Wenru's body was soaked in cold sweat. She kept signaling Yun Chujia with her eyes. It was enough. Otherwise, not only would she be expelled, she might even lose her life. President Gu looked at Yun Chujia's aggrieved look and was so angry that he gritted his teeth. If it were not for the fact that there was no precedent for teachers of the 10 Directions Academy to beat up students directly, he would have slapped her away directly. He finally understood why the 6 chancellors were so angry. This Yan Qingqing was really infuriating. He Xinjiu was also a little worried. This time she had gone too far. In fact, if Ding Wenru had not been beaten up and the talisman charm faculty had not come to provoke her, she would not have wanted the territory of the prehistoric faculty right now. However, now that things had come to this, she had no way out. She could only brace herself and play the part well. President Gu and the others were all people who cared about their reputation anyway. They would not take revenge on her publicly. When the pretty boy got the thing, she would be gone. It did not matter whether they hated her or not. President Gu took a deep breath. No matter what your starting point is, you have now seriously disturbed the order of the upper house. Cancel the ceremony immediately. Also, clean up the signboards and handwriting of the alchemy division and the talisman division. You are not allowed to parade on the streets with the signboards anymore. HMPH, didn't you say that you didn't violate the rules of the academy? We will add this clause to the rules of the academy right now. If you don't comply, you will be severely punished. Seeing that President Gu was fuming with anger, He Xinjiu immediately said with a regretful look, "Courtyard, after hearing what you said, I deeply realized my mistake. I will immediately turn over a new leaf and promise that I will never make a mistake again." The 6 chancellors looked at the sobbing He Xinjiu and the anger in their hearts eased a little. If this Yan Qingqing was a student of their own branch, they would definitely teach her a lesson. However, she was a student of the primeval branch who did not care about anything. They could only ask the president to teach her a lesson. Seeing Yun Chujio like this, President Gu's expression softened a little. I know that you are not convinced because of what happened a few days ago, but this is a decision made from the overall considerations of the academy. Don't mess around again in the future. The 2 of you should focus on your cultivation so that you won't be sent back to the lower house during the big exam. The reason why President Gu was so lenient towards Yun Chujio was partly because Yun Chujio had discovered the corpse earlier and avoided unforeseen trouble. On the other hand, the 100-year grand competition was about to begin. Although the 2 people at the back of the mountain would not show their faces in public, they would definitely head to the venue of the grand competition. Those two people had never acted according to common sense. If they were to admit these two useless students and Yan Qingqing was someone who was good at complaining, wouldn't he dig a hole for himself? Yun Chujio nodded obediently, then she said pitifully, President, because of the Chaos Branch's territory, Ding Wenru and I have become street rats. The students of the 6 branches all want to kill us to vent their anger. President Gu and the 6 chancellors thought that they deserved it. They deserved it. He Xinjiu continued, one was so angry that I did something irrational. Now we know that we were wrong. Do you think you and the 6 chancellors can show some kindness and ask them not to make things difficult for us? We don't have the protection of our teachers or the protection of our classmates. We can only rely on the president and the 6 chancellors. After saying that, Yun Chujio looked at President Gu and the 6 chancellors pitifully. Her eyes were as red as a rabbit's and she was still a weak little white rabbit. Chapter 58-56 Targeted President Gu pondered for a moment and looked at the 6 chancellors. This matter has been causing a ruckus for such a long time. It's time to stop. When you go back, knock on the door and stop targeting the 2 of them. Although the 6 chancellors were unwilling, they couldn't say anything since they had their own identities. They all nodded. President Gu then waved his hand at Yun Chujio and Ding Wenru. You guys go back and settle the aftermath, especially the ceremony. Stop it immediately. Yun Chujio obediently agreed and left President Gus' study. This guy left President Gus' courtyard and rolled his eyes. Why did she listen to President Gus' words and seem to care about the ceremony? Although the hosting ceremony was a little rash, it was not to the extent that President Gu would lose his sense of propriety. What was the reason for this? Ding Wenru saw that she was a little stunned and asked in puzzlement, Qingqing, what's wrong? Yun Chujio did not hide her doubts and explained her doubts. It's probably because the 10 Directions Academy has some taboo about such things. I think you're thinking too much. Can't you see that the 6 chancellors are all there? They must have complained about us. That's why the headmaster is so angry, said Ding Wenru. Yun Chujio shook her head. No, there must be something wrong. Forget it. If you don't understand, then don't think about it. We'll talk about it when we get back. Ding Wenru said with a bitter smile, we still have to pick the sign and wipe the words. I can imagine that those people will be mocking us again. Yun Chujio looked at her as if she was looking at an idiot. Who said that we have to pick it ourselves? Aren't there those handymen? Just hire them to pick it. Ding Wenru. With money they could really do whatever they wanted. On the other side, the 6 chancellors came out from President Gus' courtyard and looked at each other. Although the president had already ordered that Yan Qingqing had changed, but was it just going to let it go? In all these years they had never been so sullen. They had been played by a student to such an extent. It was simply embarrassing. However, with their status, it was really not good to make things difficult for a student. Therefore, the 6 of them made a decision with tacit understanding. That was that no one had gone to beat up the students of their respective branches. Anyway, it was just a small matter. President Gu would not fall out with them because of this. In the next few days, wherever Yun Chujio and Ding Wenru went, they would be ostracized by everyone. There were even people who threw away some dirty things at the entrance of the prehistoric branch. There were even people who poured dog blood on the door. The 6 chancellors had heard of this matter, but they pretended not to know anything and did not speak out to stop them. When everyone saw that Yun Chujio and Ding Wenru had been swallowing their anger, they became even more arrogant. They were just 2 useless people who had no one to rely on. What could they do to them? Nangong Shi had stood up for Ding Wenru a few times, but he made some of the girls target Ding Wenru even more. Nangong Shi was quite annoyed when he saw this. In addition, Ding Wenru was still cold and indifferent to him, so he had no choice but to bite the bullet and look for Yun Chujio. When Nangong Shi arrived at the gate of the primal institution, he saw the dirty gate and the mess on the ground. He frowned and knocked on the gate. Ding Wenru opened the gate and saw that it was him. She simply nodded and didn't say anything. Nangong Shi felt an indescribable feeling in his heart, but he didn't know where to begin. He could only say to Yun Chujio, who was sitting on a stone chair and drinking tea, "You still have the leisure to drink tea here? How badly has the gate of your prehistoric institution been ruined?" Chapter 58-57. Flowers are about to bloom. Yun Chujio put down her teacup and said with a smile, "Out of sight, out of mind. Once I close the door, I won't be able to see." Nangong Shi was speechless. After sitting down, he said, "These people are really too much. They actually used such underhanded methods to bully you. It's a pity that there are too many people involved. If the law doesn't punish the masses, it's not good to pursue the matter. Yun Chujio curled the corners of her lips. If the law doesn't punish the masses? The law will punish the masses. It's just whether I want to or not. Nangong Shi was stunned. What do you plan to do? Complain to President. The reason why Nangong Shi asked this was very simple. The chancellors of the 6 branches had all been offended by this fellow in front of her. The only person she could find to rely on was President Gu. Yun Chujio shook her head. No matter what, don't rely on others. Only you can rely on yourself. Nangong Shi was even more confused. What did she mean? Didn't you say that you would throw us into the 6 Harmonies Waterside Pavilion to train in a few days? At that time I will deal with them one by one. I will let them know who they can offend and who they cannot offend, Yun Chujio said with a cold smile. Nangong Shi wanted to say that there were so many people. How could the two of them deal with so many people? However, when he thought of the strange thing that Yun Chujio had done in the 100 Pits mountain range, he cleverly shut his mouth. He chatted with her for a while. When he saw that Ding Wenru had been ignoring him, he was somewhat annoyed. In the end he left dejectedly. Yun Chujio covered her mouth and giggled. Sister Ding, recently, there are flowers in our courtyard that are about to bloom. Ding Wenru was at a loss. There are flowers about to bloom? Weren't the flowers and plants you planted previously destroyed by Jian Shenmu and the others? It's only been 2 days since they were planted, how could they bloom so quickly? Yun Chujio said meaningfully, this flower is not the same flower. It's already a flower bud and will bloom very soon. Ding Wenru was even more at a loss. Forget it, she didn't understand a lot of what Qingqing said anyway. She could have whatever flowers she wanted. She took out a piece of paper and handed it to Yun Chujio. Qingqing, these are the people who came to our door to cause trouble. Most of them are the lackeys of Jian Shenmu from the Talisman Division. Other than that, there are also some people from the Alchemy Division. This was understandable. After all, the students from the 4 divisions of the Beastmaster Division didn't have any direct conflict with Yun Chujio, so they only mocked her and didn't do anything out of the ordinary. However, the Talisman Division and the Alchemy Division were different. Previously, Yun Chujio blew up their wall and even beat up people. In addition, Jian Zhuyu and Xiao Lianxiao fanned the flames, so they naturally would not let it go. Yun Chujio glanced at the name list. Remember their looks and then well deal with them. Ding Wenru nodded. What she was best at now was blackmailing people. As the two of them were talking, footsteps came from outside the door, followed by a familiar voice, "Open the door." Yun Chujio immediately jumped up from her chair. Her pretty boy had finally returned. Yun Chujio opened the door and indeed saw a certain someone standing outside. The certain person's brows were tightly knitted. Obviously he was puzzled when he saw the mess at the door. Ding Wenru tactfully said, "He'll go to the door to cool down for you guys. You guys chat." Ding Wenru left the courtyard after saying that. She finally found a clean place to keep watch. What's going on at the door? A certain venerable had just returned from the trial and did not know what had happened. Yun Chujio told them everything that had happened in the Baihang mountain range and what had happened recently. When she saw the gaze of a certain venerable, she inexplicably felt a little guilty. Chapter 58-58, I'm so well-behaved. He Shinjo quickly explained, I saw Ding Wenru being beaten up so badly so I blew up the wall on impulse. When the wall blew up, I had no choice but to make a big deal out of it, which led to the current situation. Yun Chujio knew that Di Baiming wanted her to keep a low profile so as to avoid unnecessary trouble. But sometimes, it was not her who caused trouble, it was the trouble that provoked her. For example, that dead grasshopper and that Xiaomo were clearly the ones who provoked her. There was also Xiao Lianxiao, Director Xiaofu, and that Jian Zhuyu. They were all people that she had bumped into. She was also very helpless, okay? Thinking of this, Yun Chujio pouted and said, Actually, this is all because of you. If it weren't for you attracting bees and butterflies everywhere, I wouldn't have been in so much trouble. Sai, look at how well-behaved I am. I don't even have a single peach blossom. Unlike you who provoked a bunch of white lotus flowers. A certain someone sneered, You're well-behaved? You don't have to worry? Do you believe it? Actually, a certain someone wanted to say that there wasn't even a single peach blossom. There was that idiot Shui Wuji in the front, that damned Lan Luochen in the back, and a mermaid who wasn't sure if she was dead or not. Yet, she still had the nerve to say that she didn't have any peach blossoms? Besides, although there were many white lotus flowers, they were no match for a little pervert like her. she could easily kill them. However, the ones she provoked were more and more difficult to deal with. Of course, a certain someone was just thinking in his heart. He would not say it even if he was beaten to death. Otherwise, where would he put his face? Hei Shinjo laughed dryly. It was just a joke. Did you take it seriously? Well, let's get down to business. Where are we going to find the demon emperor that Shaimo mentioned? It's not that I have nothing better to do. The main reason is that my parents and Wuji will have to deal with the demons sooner or later. If we find their demon emperor, we can use the demon emperor to command the demons. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Shaimo. Hearing Hei Xinjia's words, Buttface, who was in the spiritual beast pouch, gloated at Shaimo, who knew nothing at all. This old fool did not know that he had been set up by the little fairy. Oh, pitiful. Di Biming thought for a moment and said, when Shui Wuji's seal is further broken or your parents' demonic nature awakens, perhaps we can get some clues about the demon emperor. Yun Chujio felt that what he said made sense. Besides, there was no rush in this matter. They could just take a long time to think about it. Di Biming changed the topic. Give me the names of the people who were fooling around in Fro. I'll go and warn them. Yun Chujio shook her head. Don't do that. It's not easy for me to find something fun. I can handle it myself. Besides, I don't care. You're different. You're a student of the spiritual power faculty. If I delay your participation in the 100-year competition, it won't be worth it. Di Biming said seriously, Little Jio, are you planning to leave the 10 Directions Academy after I get that thing? Is that why you deliberately caused such a big fuss? Di Biming understood Yun Chujio. He knew that although she was temperamental, she was not someone who did not know her limits. For her to act so recklessly, it was obvious that she did not plan to stay in the academy for long. Yun Chujio said matter-of-factly, That's right. Since you have already left, why should I stay in this godforsaken place? That's not appropriate. Your cultivation is too low now. Staying in the academy is the best choice. Although your cultivation method is special, the 10 Directions Academy has a deep foundation. There will always be things you can learn. Furthermore, even if your identity is exposed in the future, the 10 Directions Academy will not hand you over to the Divine Devil Hall. I can only rest assured if you are not in danger. Di Biming said seriously. Chapter 58-59 I have a backer now? Yun Chujio immediately pouted in dissatisfaction. Of course not. I don't want to stay in this damn place. Wu JP's brain and the little madman's cultivation are not much stronger than mine. Why can they follow you and I can't? Di Biming sighed. Although that idiot Shui Wuji is a little stupid with the release of the seal, he is no longer comparable to you now. And Feng may not be as strong as Shui Wuji, but he is still much stronger than you. Furthermore, I don't want to put you in danger even if it's just a small risk. I can't protect you anytime, anywhere. I already owe you something, so I can't let you put yourself in danger again. Moreover, if you want to save your parents, you have to deal with the 10,000 Buddha's sacred palace. The 10 Directions Academy has a relationship with the 10,000 Buddha's sacred palace, so maybe you can find a suitable opportunity. In fact, Di Biming had said so much because he did not want Yun Chujio to be in danger with him. Yun Chujio had already planned everything. After the 100-year competition, she would follow Di Biming and kill everyone. Now that she was told to stay in the 10 Directional Academy, how could she not do it? Even if Di Biming said all the right things, even if she knew that Di Biming was doing it for her own good, this fellow still cried and made a scene. It was as though he was going to break someone's heart. Di Biming hugged Yun Chujio's hand tightly. Little Jio, trust me, this will end very soon. We will be together for a long time very soon. Trust me. You are a heartbreaker who abandoned your wife and child. I don't believe you. Hei Shinjo said this, but she also kept her tears. A certain someone smiled bitterly. It was fine that he abandoned his wife, but why did he abandon his child? He didn't even get to eat the minced meat. Where did he get the son? A certain someone coaxed her again and took out the food that he had specially brought back for her during this experiential learning. This made Hei Shinjo smile from tears. Humph. If you want to stay here, then stay here. If you want me to follow you, then I don't want to follow you. There is food and fun here. It's much better than following you through life and death. Hei Shinjo said angrily. Hei Shinjo couldn't help but feel a little regretful when she said this. If she had known earlier that she would stay here, she wouldn't have been so evil. She really regretted it. Now that she had offended all the 6 chancellors, even President Gu wasn't as friendly to her as before. How would she live in the future? The more she thought about it, the worse she felt. Indeed, impulsiveness was the devil. As she thought about it, she couldn't help but think of President Gu's strange behavior. She said, "Oh right, I think there is something strange. When I was a demon, I found that President Gu was very concerned about my plan. What do you think is the reason?" Beiming frowned and thought for a while. Then he said, "Now that you say it like that, I remember something. The reason why I was restrained in the 10 Directions Academy and didn't dare to be careless was mainly because I was afraid of the 2 Supreme Elders of the 10 Directions Academy. I also happened to know that there were 2 Supreme Elders of the 10 Directions Academy with profound cultivation. This matter was very secretive and few people knew about it. Thinking about the ritual that you mentioned, I have a guess that the 2 Supreme Elders were originally from the Primal Academy. That's why President Gu was so excited when he heard that you were going to hold a ceremony for the ancestors of the prehistoric branch. After all, those 2 are still alive and well." Yun Chujia's eyes were wide open. "Do you mean that I have a backer? One that is indestructible?" Chapter 5860, I Am the Ancestors Order. Beiming was already used to his wife's strange brain circuits. He immediately poured cold water on her. "I'm just guessing. Moreover, even if my guess is correct, those 2 might not be your backers. After all, the Primal Chaos branch hasn't recruited any students for so many years. I'm afraid that they already don't care about the matters of the Primal Chaos branch." What a certain someone was too embarrassed to say was, "Don't you know how you entered the primeval institution? It's because the 6 branches don't want you, so they put you in the primeval institution." Hei Xingjiu was not bothered by it. Her eyelashes were about to burst with joy. Other people have golden lives and fire lives, but PM the ancestor's life. A certain someone? Look, I often accidentally became the little ancestor Yun, the ghost ancestor, and the monster ancestor. Now it seems that I am going to become the grand teacher of the children of the 10 Directions Academy again. What kind of life is this if not the ancestor's life?" Hei Xingjiu said smugly. A certain elder was speechless and said helplessly, "Calm down first. Maybe I am wrong. Those 2 are not from the Primeval Academy. I don't care whether they are or not. Even if they are not, I'll think of a way to make them be. Anyway, PM definitely going to depend on these 2 big backers. PM definitely going to be the Grandmaster." Humph. Those 6 chancellors are all putting on airs. They've made me suffer a lot of cowardice. When the time comes, I'll make them kowtow obediently and call me Grandmaster. President Gu, no, little Guzi is still alright. I won't make things difficult for him then. Seeing that Hei Xingjiu was already immersed in the beautiful dream that she had woven, a certain honored master could only laugh bitterly and sit by the side to listen to her blabbering. Hei Xingjiu thought about it for a while and was so happy that she couldn't close her mouth. Beiming then said indifferently, "I heard that those 2 are always in closed-door cultivation. PM afraid that you won't even be able to see them, let alone other things." Hei Xingjiu blinked her eyes. This was indeed a problem. If she couldn't see them, those 2 old geezers didn't know that there were such outstanding students like her. Hei Xingjiu immediately became dispirited. This backer didn't seem to be very reliable. This fellow's mood instantly took a turn for the worse. He wasn't in the mood to talk to Beiming anymore, so he directly chased the miserable one out. After Ding Wenru entered, she saw Yun Chujia's distressed expression and asked curiously, "Qing, what happened to you? Did Beiyu bully you?" "He dares?" Hei Xingjiu said angrily. "Then what's wrong with you? Are you worried that President Gu and the 6 chancellors will give us a hard time?" Hei Xingjiu curled her lips. "They are just a bunch of disciples and grand disciples. How dare they give us a hard time? Unless they don't want to live anymore." Ding Wenru. What disciples and grand disciples? Was Qing crazy? Qing, are you okay? Ding Wenru looked worried. "I'm fine, PM, fine. I just thought of the reason why President Gu is so disgusted with our organization." "What reason?" Ding Wenru asked curiously. "I guess there must be a living teacher in the prehistoric institution. That's why President Gu is so excited. Think about it. It's said that the prehistoric branch hasn't recruited students for 1,000 years. The living ones must be at least 1,000 years old or even older. We are their own disciples. Their seniority must be higher than President Gu and the others." Yun Chujiu said proudly. Ding Wenru was stunned when she heard that. "Is your guess reliable? Is there really a living teacher in the prehistoric branch?" Chapter 5861 cried and begged me to be his disciple. Of course there is. Otherwise, why would President Gu be so anxious to stop us from doing anything? Moreover, if there wasn't anyone alive, why would the primal region still have such a courtyard and a plaque? Obviously, he was afraid that our master would come back to settle the score with them, Yun Chujio said with certainty. Ding Wenru was speechless. Let's not talk about whether there was a so-called master or not. Even if there was, it was not a master. This master was different from a lecturer. A master could only be accepted by another master. Based on their current cultivation level, they might be kicked out of the primeval institution, not to mention being accepted as disciples. Ching, even if your guess is right, if there really is a master alive, he might not accept us as disciples. Besides, after saying so much, where is this so-called master? Humph. We have to accept him or not. However, PM also a little worried. How can we invite our master out? Hei Shinjio held her chin and mumbled. Since the headmaster is against us doing the ritual, he must know about our master. However, I wonder if he will tell us. Before Ding Wenru could finish her words, Hei Shinjio dashed out like a rabbit. I'll go find the headmaster. Hei Shinjio ran all the way to the door of President Gu's courtyard and was stopped by the guards. Tell President Gu that I have something important to report to him, Yun Chujio said mysteriously. Immediately, a guard came inside to report. President Gu had heard a little about Yun Chujio and Ding Wenru's recent situation and thought that she was here to complain. He said to the guard, "Tell her that I'm very busy and don't have time to see her." After hearing the guard's words, Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. "Please come again, brother guard. Tell her that an old man from our Primal Academy came and claimed to be the teacher of the Primal Academy." The guard had been in the 10 Directions Academy for a long time. He was dumbfounded after hearing Yun Chujio's words. The teacher of the Primal Academy? Hadn't the Primal Academy been empty for 800 years? However, he saw Yun Chujio's serious face and did not seem to be lying, so he went in to report. President Gu was drinking tea when he heard the guard's words. The teacup fell to the ground with a bang and he stood up abruptly. "What did you say?" The guard repeated Yun Chujio's words again. President Gu was shocked. Could it be that one of the people in the back mountain had come out of seclusion? He immediately walked out of the study. After thinking for a moment, he stopped and said, "Call Yan Qingqing in." Hei Shinjio was immediately called in by the guard. Seeing the shocked expression on the guard's face, he was even more certain that he was his ancestor's fate. The guard was so shocked. It was obvious that President Gu's expression revealed something. It seemed that she was going to have a new master. Hei Shinjio entered the study room and saw that although President Gu tried his best to hide it, the water stains on the ground showed everything. She bowed to President Gu respectfully. "President Gu, it's been a long time since we last met. I miss you so much. I'm glad to meet you." President Gu was not in the mood to pay attention to her messy words. He asked, "The guard said that someone from the prehistoric institution called himself a teacher?" Yun Chujio nodded with certainty. "That's right. It was an old man who said that he was the teacher of the prehistoric institution. He cried and begged me to be his disciple. President, he must be crazy, right? Please quickly send someone to arrest him." You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.